touchdown, and the Trojans beat the Irish 20-17. 1966, again, the Coliseum, final game of the year. Again, the national championship possible for Notre Dame. The Irish did not miss this time. Coley O'Brien, an unsuspecting star, throwing here to Jim Seymour. The Irish romp 51-0. 1970 in the mud, the Trojans won the war. But Joe Theismann, Irish quarterback, won a fair share of praise. 33 passes, 526 yards, 2 touchdowns. But the Trojans prevail by a score of 38-28. 1972, USC team still considered one of the best ever. National champions, 12 wins in a row. Anthony Davis, starting his run into Trojan history, flew 97 yards with the opening kickoff. On this day, Anthony Davis scored 6 touchdowns. USC had a romp, 45-23. And Ara Parsekian blanched as he walked from the Coliseum, recalling that Davis was only a sophomore. In 1974, Anthony Davis one more time. One of the most remarkable football games ever. Notre Dame leading 24-6 at halftime. The second half opened with a 102-yard kickoff return for a touchdown by Davis. And the floodgates were open. Southern California scored 35 points in the third quarter. In just 17 minutes of the second half, USC scored 49 points. And they won the football game going away by a score of 55-24, with people like Pat Hayden throwing to J.K. McKay. Last year at South Bend, the 20th time one of these games had national championship bearing. Dan Devine went back to the old green jerseys, and the Irish had a field day, 49-19. Now it's time for number 50. College football today from Memorial Stadium in Los Angeles. USC and Notre Dame, 2 great teams, 2 great traditions. You'll see 2 fine young quarterbacks, Joe Montana of the Irish, Paul McDonald of USC. And this ABC Sports Exclusive is brought to you by the folks at Chevrolet, who invite you to come on in to your Chevy dealers coast to coast for a look at an all-star lineup of cars. By Owens Corning Fiberglass, manufacturers of Owens Corning Fiberglass attic insulation and other fiberglass products. And by Sony, when you want something special in a home entertainment product, remember, it's a Sony. A bit overcast today over the city of Los Angeles. We've had a couple of days of rain. Rained pretty hard, as a matter of fact, during the week. 62 degrees as we get ready for this 50th meeting between the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame and the Trojans of Southern California. USC ranked 3rd in the nation. Notre Dame ranked 8th in the nation. And you look down into the Coliseum, Memorial Coliseum here in Los Angeles, and it's beginning to fill. We anticipate a crowd of right at 80,000 this afternoon. This football series born out of the need for 2 privately endowed universities to raise more money, improve their national image. The talking was done in 1925. The first game played in 26. There are some who say it was the gentle persuasion of Bonnie Rockney, who loved to visit Los Angeles, that made that ultimate decision when Knute Rockney said on a Pullman car traveling across the country, "The game is on." And I'm not even sure that Knute Rockney knew exactly what he was starting when he agreed to it, but it is one of the great intersectional series in all of college football. I'm Keith Jackson, along with Frank Broyles. And Frank, let us settle in here for just a little conversation about the Notre Dame running backs. Now, we understand that Jerome Evans has been laid up for a couple of weeks with a sore leg. But we also understand that Vegas Ferguson, who has become the single-season rushing record holder at Notre Dame, had a pulled groin muscle.
That is true. The coaches say that he may not be able to play, and he has been the big factor in the last 2 ball games.
The Irish beginning to make their entrance into the Coliseum. They go down into that particular end zone because that is where most of the Notre Dame partisans are located, and there are a lot of them out here, and they make a lot of noise. Notre Dame will be wearing the white shirts today. You can see Dan Devine and the assistant coaches coming right out with them, and it's called pump-up time. The adrenaline's starting to flow. The Irish 8-2, and they open with a couple of losses. They've come back now to win 8 consecutive ball games, including a 38-21 victory over Georgia Tech last week in Atlanta. So that's the Notre Dame team there that goes into a ball game with 2 lame-legged running backs. And with Evans coming back off the injury, they tell us that he practiced pretty well, Frank. But now the roar starts to build, and we'll take a look at the Trojans as they make their entrance into the Coliseum. And when they come in, I think that everybody here in the Southern California area is going to do a little bit of jumping around, whether you don't really care for USC or not, because so many people here have tried to make such an issue of the revenge factor off that 49-19 game a year ago.
Well, they have, Steve. It was a big upset last year. Notre Dame came out in their green jerseys and poured it on both in offensive running and passing. This is the thing that really concerns Southern Cal today. Can they stop Notre Dame's balanced offense?
I think John Robinson's playing the timing just right because he's concerned about his team. They made a lot of mistakes last week, little picky mistakes in procedure. And that tells me after 5 must games that their concentration might have bogged down a bit.
I'm sure that it has. They've had their backs to the wall trying to reach the Rose Bowl, but they've accomplished this. Is a big ball game, prestigious, very important national. I'm sure they'll be ready today.
Well, the Trojans, to a man, will tell you they, with the right turn of events, could themselves claim the national champion when the bowl games are played. The Trojan record there, and the only team to beat them was Arizona State, a game played at Tempe. A good football team at Tempe under Frank Bush. USC went into that game, lost all of their centers, and one of the unsung heroes, I think, for SC this year has been a young man who played nose guard, Ray Peters, who has taken over the snapping process. Let's talk about the individuals now. Charles White, USC.
Charles White has had a fantastic career. He's already broken the Big Ten rushing records, but the most impressive thing about him, Steve, I think, is his durability. Averaging 27 times a ball game, and high formation tailback gets hit practically on every play.
A couple of quarterbacks in this ball game going to have to take some burden today, too. Joe Montana particularly, if Ferguson and Evans are, in fact, lame-legged and can't do a whole lot of work. And young McDonald for Southern California has been tremendous. Joe from Monongahela and Paul from Covina. So those names are bound to be called a lot before this day is done, because I suspect that both of them will have to put it up in the ultimate decision.
A lot of cars are like pizzas. To get a lot on them, you gotta pay a lot extra. But not the 1979 Chevy Chevette. It comes with a lot already on it. Chevette ignores the pizza principle. With it, you get an AM radio, reclining bucket seats, console, white striped tires, and more, all at no extra cost. So avoid the pizza principle.
Hi, Richie.
Get a car with a lot already on it. Get the best-selling small car in America, Chevy Chevette. It's a lot of car for the money.
Hi, Richie.
Hi, kid.
This used to be filled with 4 million gallons of oil, but we've just been using too much of it. Perhaps we should use the yellow pages more. It tells us who sells what we need, where they're located, and when they're open. So there's less driving around wasting precious gas. The yellow pages is not an empty promise. When you need to know who, what, where, when, and why, let your fingers do the walking through the Bell System yellow pages.
Owens Corning built these 3 houses at its research center in Ohio to study the effect of 3 different levels of insulation. Nobody lives inside, but hundreds of electronic sensing devices measure the heat that flows out during winter and in during summer. What we're learning here helps us give you better advice about insulating your home, whether it's old or brand new. Want to know about insulation? Ask the experts. Ask Owens Corning.
Touchdown excitement next Friday night. Number 9, Texas battles Texas A&M in a special telecast. Then Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, Georgia takes on Georgia Tech. And at 4, the Army-Navy game, one of the fiercest college rivalries. The action begins Friday night on ABC.
Well, it's time to put it on the tee. 50th time between the Fighting Irish and the Trojans at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. USC having won the toss, and the Trojans obviously will receive the football. Going deep, Raymond Butler, number 86, and Charles White, number 12. And kicking off for Notre Dame will be number 99, Joe Eunice. Their play on real grass here, and that's a little bit soggy. They had it covered during the week. We had a lot of rain, but the field is still soft, actually, from last week, and not all that much grass left on it. Number 50 is underway. High, short kick to Butler. They did not want White to have it. Butler from the 9. He's out to the 25. Brought down by Rob Crable. Starting in the offensive backfield for USC, Paul McDonald, the junior. Charles White, he is also a junior. Lynn Kane is a senior at fullback. Kevin Williams at flanker is a sophomore. Calvin Sweeney at the wide receiver is a senior. And the first offensive play of the ball game. Southern California from their 25-yard line. Sweeney is wide to the right. They put Rakshani in motion. And give it to Kane, the fullback. And Lynn Kane pops it out of there, gets it up across the 30 to the 34-yard line. For 9 yards, Tom Gibbons brought him down. The offensive front for Southern California. Otis Page at 250 pounds. Pat Howell at guard, 255. The center, Ray Peters, the young man we mentioned, 225. Brad Buddy, 253, a junior. Keith Van Horn, 250-pounder. And James Hunter at 225 pounds. Rakshani, a 220-pounder, really works more as a flanker back when they go into a double tight end. It's Charles White's first carry of the ball game, and the young man who holds all of the Southern California and Pac-10 rushing records has the ball across the 35, first down for Southern Cal. Notre Dame's defense has Case Weston, Calhoun, and Hankard up front. The linebackers for the Irish, Heimkreider Golick, who is the record-setting tackler for the Irish, Whittington, the other linebacker. The defensive secondary, Waymer, Gibbons, Browner, and Restic. And there's question in all of our minds as to whether or not that defensive secondary can control Paul McDonald's passing. It is first down, Southern California at the 38. Out of the traditional I formation, Charles White is hit behind the line of scrimmage. Good penetration by Hankard on the right side, 241-pound sophomore out of Jackson, Michigan. And so for the first time in the ball game, the Southern California offensive unit tastes a loss.
Very important to make a first down. The first time they have the ball, Keith. That was their goal, and they've accomplished it. Now they've got long yardage situation coming up.
Second down, and let's call it 12 from just about the 36-yard line of Southern California. Opening offensive possession, no score in the ball game. And McDonald to throw it. Giving it away to White. Here's one of the things that makes McDonald so effective in the backfield. He is such a calm, poised youngster as he dropped back, took a look as if to pass, and then gave the ball away to Charles White. And in running the I formation, Frank, the linemen from the very beginning are taught to hold those blocks.
They have to get him extra pass protection. That was a two-man pattern. He looked for the deep receiver. He was covered, calmly dealt it out to White.
The football is sitting at the 45-yard line. It is third down. They need 3 for the first down. McDonald is down. Golick got him. Hankard started the play defensively for Notre Dame, forcing the USC quarterback to move out of the pocket. And then Bob Golick was right there to make the tackle, number 55.
Let's watch Bob Golick, a great linebacker, playing nose guard on this particular play, rushing right through, just charging and roaring back, won't give up. When the receivers were first covered, McDonald had to scramble, and Golick makes the play.
Marty King in to punt. The kick is deep, and it's taken at the 18-yard line by defensive back Dave Waymer, and Waymer is planted at the 21. It was a 45-yard punt for Marty King. Here's the starting unit for Notre Dame. Joe Montana, the senior at quarterback. Vegas Ferguson, the junior, who's been tearing them up lately. Jerome Heavens coming off injury at fullback. And Pete Holohan is the wide receiver or flanker back, and Chris Haynes works at split end. Pete Pallas, however, will carry the burden of fullback in the first series here. Heavens is not in for the first series. Joe Montana turns and hands the ball to Vegas Ferguson, and Ferguson, cutting it into the middle, is across the 25 to about the 26. Here are the big guys up front for the Fighting Irish in the offensive line. Rob Martinovich at tackle. He's 256. Jim Hockman is at 243 pounds. Great center, Dave Huffman, 245 pounds. Younger brother, Tim Huffman, 262 pounds, ate more cornbread. Tim Foley, 257-pounder at tackle. And Brendinger is hurt, came out for the pictures. He's a senior. Maztak, the freshman, is in there at the tight end position. Hand the ball off at the 26-yard line for the Fighting Irish as Pete Buchanan now has come in at fullback, a freshman out of Plymouth, Indiana, number 35, and he gets maybe a yard. So it'll be third down for Notre Dame, and they're going to need 3 yards. USC has Lapka, Dimmler, Sperling on the defensive front. Those are the down linemen. Linebackers are Johnson, Gray, Cobb, McGrew, the secondary, which may be tested right here. Hartwig, Ward, Smith, and Lott. On third and closer to 4 yards, Montana. Back to throw. He's on. Passes away. Passes incomplete, intended for Chris Haynes. Haynes got started on a fly down the sidelines, realizing his quarterback was in trouble, had come back, was open, Montana missed him. Pressure from Larry McGrew and Rich Dimmler.
An interesting point, Keith. Both teams threw on 3rd down and 3. That shows the respect that they have for the opposing defense.
That incomplete pass snapped Joe Montana's successful string of completed passes. He had 10 in a row against Georgia Tech. If he had completed that one, he would have had that record at Notre Dame. He goes in the books tied with the great Angelo Bertelli. On 4th down, here is the punt. Raymond Butler is deep. Joe Restick's kick floating around, and Butler calls Southern California's football. First down at their own 27 with 11:03 to go in the first quarter of play, and we have no score.
It's Saturday afternoon all over America, and millions of people are enjoying something very special. The Metropolitan Opera, broadcast live on radio. For 39 years, Texaco has been proud to bring you radio broadcasts live from the Metropolitan Opera, helping make it America's only national opera company.
Want a gift that'll bring the world twice as close? Extra can do. With a new Kodak Tele Extra 1 camera, you can take sharp, clear pictures 2 ways. Hey, gang! Normal and telephoto. Or choose the simple aim and shoot Kodak Extra 1 camera. It's the lowest priced Kodak pocket camera ever. For more pictures, more places, more often, give the can-do cameras. New Kodak Extra cameras. Another Open Me First gift to save Christmas in pictures.
The Goodyear blimp Columbia with our cameraman Mayo Partee floating over the Coliseum. The pilot, our old friend Corky Ballinger from Pomona, California, giving you that picture. They got a lot of fluffy clouds floating around. 62 degrees, very comfortable. Second offensive possession for USC. First down just outside their own 27-yard line. McDonald gives to White. And White cuts it up the middle for a couple of yards. He gets close to the 30 before he is brought down by Bob Golick, 55.
Bob Golick has just broken his own record for the number of tackles. Number 55, the linebacker. As soon as he gets a key as to the play that's going to be run, he comes right back and makes the play. No one was blocking on him. The lineman had used up Southern Cal's blockers.
Gained about 2.5 yards on the carry. Call it second down, 8 from the 30. McDonald rolling it, wants to put it up, goes out short to right. He's across the 35 to the 36. He needs a better part of 2 yards for his first down. Third down coming up. The officials for the ball game this afternoon. The referee is Paul Kamensky. The umpire, Dan Davey. The head linesman, Bob Zelinka. Dale Oram, the line judge. Bill Fetty, the field judge. The back judge is J.W. Sanders.
Paul McDonald has not thrown interception now in 96 passes.
Third down, short 2. For the first down. The I-back White spins over the right side, gets his first down. He went in behind Van Horn and Buddy. And he's at the 40, and that'll be a first down for Southern California.
Keith, the USC coaches say that Lynn Kane's development as a blocker has been one of the key factors in their success this year.
He also run for better than 860 yards.
Maybe the first high fullback to go 1,000.
First down, Trojans, 40-yard line. McDonald on first down to throw. Has it over the middle. Complete to Kevin Williams. Kevin Williams has now caught 15 passes this season. He has 9 touchdowns, and that's a Southern California first down. And that's exactly what I meant a while ago when I said there are those who wonder if the Notre Dame secondary can contain young McDonald.
Notre Dame has had 11 touchdown passes thrown on. This is a deep over-the-middle pass in front of the safety man. Resnick could not come up and make the play. Excellent throw by McDonald.
Got to respect Williams' speed, too. Very quick. First down, just inside the Notre Dame 39-yard line. Fullback Kane spins to the 36. It'll be second down and about 8. 9 minutes left to play in the first quarter in this 50th meeting between the Irish and the Trojans.
Keith, the Southern Cal offensive line is one of the most impressive units in America today. They average about 6'4", 250 pounds in weight. There's something else.
Second down and 8, just outside the 36 of Notre Dame. McDonald sets the throw. Good protection. Goes to the sideline pattern and misses Williams this time. The coverage by Tom Gibbons, number 27, a sophomore out of Alexandria, Virginia. So it'll bring up a third down. Southern California has not been terribly productive in the first quarter of play during the course of this season, but in the second quarter, they have been dynamite. They've scored 117 points in the second quarter to only 6 for the opposition. Over the last 5 ball games, it's been 90 zip.
That's incredible, Keith.
It is. Waymer comes out now to check on Sweeney. Wide to the right sideline to the bottom of the picture. White coming in the same direction. McDonald back to throw. He's under some pressure. Now he has some room. If he'd have pulled the ball down and taken it upfield, he could have run for his first down. Instead, he tried to throw to James Hunter, the tight end. And Hunter was covered by Mike Whittington, the linebacker. And it'll be 4th down for Southern Cal, and they will have to kick. You get that quarterback drilled into one protecting himself, and as long as that blocking holds up, and that time he could have pulled it down and run for quite a while. Here's the punt now by King. 3 Irish coming. It's a knuckleball rolling around, and it is fielded by Notre Dame back on the 11-yard line as Waymer picks it up. He didn't want SC to put it down on the 1-yard line, which would have been possible. So it's still scoreless.
This IBM computer of 25 years ago contained 10,000 vacuum tubes. All the work they did in one day can now be done by a few circuit chips in less than a minute. How to become so far, so fast? Hard work. IBM's in a competitive industry. We have to work hard. I'm part of the group that developed this electron beam fabricator. It makes circuits so small you need a powerful microscope just to see them clearly. Soon, those few chips you saw before will be replaced by one chip. Innovations like this have dramatically reduced computing costs, even in this time of inflation. Calculations that cost $1 in the 50s now cost less than a penny. That means your bank can give you better services. It means you can renew your driver's license fast and easily. It means living a little simpler in a complicated world.
IBM, helping put information to work for people.
Wide open football is one great thing about the Pacific 10 Conference, but the Pac-10 excels in all intercollegiate sports as well as in the classroom. Academics and athletics go hand in hand in making the Pac-10 the Conference of Champions.
There's the Coliseum, which will be a centerpiece of the 1984 Olympic Games. It was the centerpiece of the 1932 Olympic Games. Here we go down to the floor, and Notre Dame has the ball. They have it at the 12-yard line, first down. Ball is handed off to Vegas Ferguson, and Ferguson gets a couple as he runs into the stack. Dennis Johnson, 56, linebacker, making the stop. And so far, I don't see any indication of a sore leg on the part of Ferguson. Watch number 56, though, do his thing.
Southern Cal is using this ball a lot of crashing, linebacker, blitzing defenses. Here's an example of Johnson running right through as soon as he saw the play direction.
Let's give him a yard and a half, second down. Notre Dame just short of their 14. Motion is Pete Holohan. Montana looking to throw it. Ty Sperling gets in. Ty Sperling, who was the defensive player of the game last week against UCLA, runs him down. And boy, I tell you, that is a big down lineman who is really strong and quick. He had 3 sacks last week against UCLA. And McDonald's shaken up on that last series, a slight ankle sprain. They would hurt some if they lost him.
He has been the big factor in their success story this year.
Notre Dame comes up now with Jerome Evans in the lineup for the first time. And Evans gets the ball. He's been laid up for a couple of weeks with a leg injury. He pops it back out to about the 10, gets up 1 of the 3 yards lost by the sack of Montana. It brings up a 4th down. Restic comes in to punt. He had a 47-yarder on his last kick. He's been kicking very well the last couple of weeks.
He averaged 47 yards last week against Georgia Tech.
Little bit of a breeze at his back. Not a whole lot, but what there is at his back. Out of the end zone, he hits it at the goal line. Spins it upfield. Raymond Butler on the bounce. The loop's pretty good. But Southern California has very good field position. They have the ball first down at their own 45-yard line. A 47-yard punt, 2 in a row for Joe. Next Saturday, we wind up the regular season of our college football presentations of 78, starting with Georgia Tech at 12:30 Eastern Time. That'll make a lot of noise down south. And then the most traditional of all, at 4 Eastern Time, Army-Navy from Philadelphia. Paul McDonald is on the field at quarterback. So apparently he's not going to let that ankle bother him. They send Williams in motion with Kane and White behind him. It goes to White. And White's across the 45, give him the 2 yards on the carry. 2nd down and 8 coming up for USC.
Keith, the quarter is developing just like other Southern Cal games where they have good field position, getting ready for that explosive, maybe, 2nd quarter of 77 points to 0 for their opponents.
Second down and 8. Ball just short of the 47. Sweeney and Williams, 2 speed burners, double wide left. Swing it out to Charles White. White against Whittington, outruns him. And he gets the first down as he takes it down to the Notre Dame 42-yard line. Waymer pushed him out for the Irish. The junior out of Charlotte. Mike Whittington was out there, linebacker, but there's no way in the world a linebacker's going to handle Charles White.
No, so they were in a man-for-man coverage, and Whittington is rolling out the flat to try to cover White. And he just can't do it. You can see the speed of White outrun the linebackers. A mismatch, as we say in coaching vernacular. Good effort.
And a first down for Southern California, just short of the Notre Dame 42. Williams motions and comes into the right side, double wide on the right side as McDonald keeps the ball, looks to throw it, throws it short, and the pass is caught by Lynn Kane, the fullback, coming out of the backfield. And Kane is rolled out of bounds, looks like about the 37-yard line.
That's the 37-yard line.
McDonald is hobbled, no question about it. Looks like it's the left ankle rather than the right one.
He is definitely limping. He was on that particular pass, and that will be a factor. Notre Dame may start rushing him if that is the case.
Dan Garcia is in now, replacing Kevin Williams at that flanker spot for USC. He goes out wide along with Sweeney. Dwight Ford is now at tailback. Ford has the ball, breaks it big all the way down to the 30, and it's another first down for Southern Cal.
Steve, that was an excellent cut by White. The play was to go over the left guard, but he broke back over behind Brady and Horn, found daylight, good opening, and made the first down. Look at the size of the USC offensive line.
Anthony Munoz, who was a regular, laid out now with a leg surgery. He's a 280-pounder, 280-pound first baseman. McDonald back to throw. On first down, he goes over the middle. Williams is there. It is touchdown.
Pass is complete to Kevin Williams for a Georgia touchdown. 30 yards on the backboard.
Let's look at it again. It's a straight drop-back pass, and Williams is breaking in front. Watch Preston try to come up and make the play, but he cannot do it. Williams goes in for his 10th touchdown of the season.
On only 16 receptions.
I can't believe it. 5'8", 155 pounds.
Frank Jordan, extra point. Hooked it left. Of all the series in the history of college football, no series has ever been more affected by missed extra points than USC Notre Dame. Go all the way back to the very first one. Won by Notre Dame 13-12. The extra point has been so important. But here's Williams.
Right over the middle, behind the linebackers and in front of the safety. Very difficult to double.
4:32 to go first quarter. Trojans lead 6-0.
The Goodyear Tiempo is the all-season radio proved last year. Goodyear's Tiempo was the steel-belted snow tire that got Paul Benbenick through last winter.
I drove in a lot of storms last year with my Tiempos and didn't have any problems.
Tiempo was a rain tire for Marilyn Tooley.
I did a lot of city driving in the rain, and there wasn't any skidding with my Tiempos.
Tiempo is the snow tire, rain tire, sun tire, the one tire that does it all. Goodyear's Tiempo, one tire you can drive with confidence all year.
With great skill and discipline, you teach what's been kept a secret for centuries. And when the lesson has been taught and learned, now comes Miller time. Time to head for the best-tasting beer you can find. America's quality beer, Miller High Line.
You got the time, we've got the beer, Miller beer.
Friday night, a special telecast. Number 9, Texas tackles Texas A&M. A fiery Southwest Conference clash. Friday night.
If you ever were interested in productivity, there's a stat there that really is revealing, and it's 10 out of 16 this year.
Keith, John Robinson told me that he is a football player that can run fast, meaning that the track players that try to play football, not this young man, 9-4 in the 100-yard dash.
All right, Jordan will kick off. He just missed his 3rd extra point of the season. 6-0 USC, and it's not a very good kick. It fritters around down there and is picked up short and brought back to about the 31-yard line by Tony Belden, number 36, a freshman.
One more look from the back of the touchdown. Watch Williams break right across and going against the grain. Notre Dame has had 11. That's the 12th touchdown pass they've had thrown on this year. Watch Williams. He's just trying to find the opening behind the linebackers in front of the safety. The most difficult to throw, most difficult to cover pass.
Pete Pallas is at fullback now. The ball is given to Vegas Ferguson from the 30. Hits in there for a yard, maybe 2, not a whole lot. There just isn't much room in that Southern California middle if they smell you coming that direction, because they have those 5 linebackers that the outside men coming up to play along the defensive front to give you a 5-man look. Sometimes they'll give you a 6-man look.
And an 8-man look on that day.
That's right. 2nd down, 9 from the 31. Montana rolls it out, puts it up, throws to Haynes on the sidelines, leads him too much, passes incomplete. Holohan it was. Pete Holohan, number 31, a sophomore out of Liverpool, New York.
Keith, the interesting part of that particular play, Lott, their safety, faked the blitz. Montana changed the play, then he dropped back. They went into double coverage, incomplete pass, now it's 2nd, 3rd, 10.
Buchanan is coming at fullback with Grindinger hurt. The messenger system apparently changed with the fullbacks doing most of the carrying of the call from the sideline. Montana's pass is over the middle. Pass is incomplete. Chris Haynes, number 82, had it on his fingers, but it was a little bit high for the 181-pound speedster. And so Notre Dame will punt. Southern California should get the ball again in pretty good field position.
Watch Haynes turn inside, and the ball right there, a little bit high. As he jumped, the ball slipped right through his hand. Could have been completed.
Well, he and Montana spent the whole summer on their own working in South Bend and working out. That time it didn't work. 4th down, Butler deep. Restick's kick is away. He's had 2 47-yarders, and he put some frost on that when he hung it so high, forcing Butler to go for fair catch back at the Southern California 25. On ABC's NFL Monday Night Football this coming Monday, it'll be interesting to see whether the resurgent San Francisco 49ers, who took the Los Angeles Rams into overtime last week, can come up with another big effort against the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's at 9 Eastern time.
Scott Bull is the quarterback. The former Arkansas player starred the last 2 football games, Keith, for the 49ers.
A lot of people think old Scott's got a lot of gizzard. He can get that job.
6'5", and he is a competitor and a leader.
You ought to know. 1st down, SC, 25-yard line. They lead 6-0. Garcia wide left, White's the tailback. Kane, the fullback. And Kane spins for 1. That's all there is. Heimkreider and Weston making it. Let's look at another Notre Dame linebacker, Heimkreider.
Heimkreider, number 58, has 139 tackles so far this year. He's 2nd. Watch him diagnose the play and plug the hole going forward with a good shoulder tackle. The initial hit, then the help came in, wrestled Kane to the ground.
Steve, a senior out of Cincinnati. Mike Calhoun is the man down on the field for Notre Dame, defensive tackle, a senior out of Austintown, Ohio. Looks like Big Michael has been deflated for a moment. I hope that's all it is. He is an outstanding young man and a fine football player. So whilst time is out, look at this one halftime. Houston and Texas Tech are all even at 14. Houston, of course, is headed for the Cotton Bowl, provided they can win this game against Texas Tech or beat Rice next week. Michigan has defeated Ohio State 14-3, and the Wolverines are coming back to Pasadena one more time, and they will play this time the Southern California Trojans. Baylor is just routing Texas at halftime, Frank. That's startling.
I do not believe that. That is incredible.
Calhoun is walking off the field himself, holding his stomach. Let's hope he'll be back. Big Mike.
He's been able to put some pressure on McDonald in these first couple of series. They'll miss him.
Joe Gramke, number 92, comes in to play the tackle position. He's a freshman out of Cincinnati. Garcia goes wide, and White the tailback. And the ball is given to Charles White. Brad Buddy, the pulling guard, out in front, leading him, but Charles White can't get close enough to Buddy, and knifing in there is number 75, Jay Case, to lock the ankles with a little help from Gibbons. Clemson beat South Carolina 41-23 today to wind up a most successful season for Charlie Pell's Tigers. And the Tigers will be back in the Gator Bowl against the Ohio State Buckeyes on December 29, a Friday night. And I'll guarantee you those Tigers are not happy with what they did in the Gator Bowl last year. They might be a little tougher to handle this year. Steve Fuller in that front. Good football team. Third down. 9. McDonald to throw. He goes over the middle with it, and the pass is incomplete. He actually hooked it to the sidelines. Waymer was covering Sweeney, and Sweeney could not reach the ball. And I think footing there might have had something to do with it.
The receivers are slipping down often with the wet field, Keith. It's going to make a difference in the passing game.
Some of the scores out of the East now as Marty King is in the punt. Waymer is deep to receive it for Notre Dame. King's kick wobbles up there. Out of a Don Quayle. It is grabbed by Tom Gibbons, a sophomore out of Alexandria, Virginia. Notre Dame gets the ball now in very good field position. Not a particularly good kick by King, 31 yards. Notre Dame has the ball just outside their own 43, first down. Mike Calhoun is on the bench, getting his breath, bruised ribs. Mike says he will play some more. First down, Irish. Montana on first down to throw. He goes down, and the pass is thrown beautifully and caught perfectly by Chris Haynes, who went up in front of number 49, Dennis Smith, shielding Smith away from the ball to make the catch.
Let's watch Haynes run an inside pattern and break back out what we call a post corner, and watch Smith come up and search him, but he held on to it. That's real concentration. Let's look at it from the end zone. You can see Montana watching him all the way, throwing the ball beautifully. Good catch by Haynes.
First down at the Southern California 34. First threat in the ball game by the Irish. Vegas Ferguson. And Ferguson is just missed by number 53, Gary Cobb, at the line of scrimmage. But with his strength and speed, turns it into about a 3-yard pickup. Second down and 7 for the Irish. Evans goes in at fullback now for Notre Dame, bringing the play from the sideline. Ole Miss, 17-zip over the Bulldogs of State.
Ooh. Johnny May just won a big one, defeating Kentucky. His team is getting stronger in November.
Laying all those babies. They go fast. Second down and 7. Montana hands it to the fullback. And Jerome Evans gets to about the 30 for a yard before the scarlet wall falls on him. The cardinal wall, if you wish, the precise definition of the color. Cardinal and gold.
Keith Dimmel, the nose guard, had moved over to that side, made a 4-man front, and they just had the blockers outnumbered. Nothing was there.
It is third down and 6 for Notre Dame. Montana to throw. He has Haynes wide open. Did not get it. Haynes is preaching that he came up with it. The call says no. Who trapped it. He was all alone.
Keith, watch this play. I don't know what happened to the Southern Cal secondary. They took the fake in the backfield, They thought that he'd hand it off to Ferguson. Look how wide open he is. Montana couldn't quite get the ball to it. Haynes makes a great effort, tries to catch the ball just above the turf, but traps it. Official right on top of it.
And Southern California's lucky. Or Notre Dame is unlucky, depending on your perspective. They will try the field goal. It is a long one from 47 yards. Joe Eunice. It is good. Just barely cleared the crossbar. Southern Cal really didn't put much of a rush on him because they didn't think he could make it.
They couldn't believe it. They didn't put any rush on. They stood there for a pass or a screen, Keith, or something. The ball went up. Watch it again. If you can see it on the replay, you can't see the play, but watch Eunice's reaction right here.
He's huffing and puffing and trying to hope it over. And suddenly it was over.
That's great.
Well, that's the first success he's had. He was 0 for 1 from outside the 40-yard line. Chuck Mayle, the other kicker for the Irish, with a sore thigh muscle, and so Eunice delivers from 47 yards. And Notre Dame is on the board. It's a 6-3 ball game. And Southern California's got to be saying, well, now, just hold on a minute here. What is this?
We're going to have a heck of a ball game. Both of these teams have the offense to move up and down the field. We could have one of these lawn burners, Keith.
We've had some between these folks before, I'll tell you. John Robinson facing one side, Dan Devine the other side. White and Butler are the deep men. Butler at the bottom of the picture. Eunice will kick off. 6-3 ball game now with 43 seconds to go in the first period. It comes to White at the 10. Charles runs away from his blocking and runs into all white shirts over there. Randy Harrison leading the tacklers as they run him out at the 25, stopping the clock at 38 seconds to go in the first quarter. Well, looks like they've got their 80,000 pretty much. Pretty good crowd here today.
Well, this is a great football game. Every football fan in America knows about the history of the Notre Dame Southern Cal contest.
First down, Trojans at the 25. USC 6, Notre Dame 3. Charles White to the 28. Second down and 7 coming in a ball game. 183-pounder. Grew up in the North San Fernando Valley. Clock running now, winding down toward the end of the first period of play. Playing tailback in Southern California has not only become a tradition, it has become almost a state of mind for those who do it because they carry the ball a lot, they take a lot of punishment, but I've never heard a USC tailback grumble about it. Let's call it a 4-yard pickup to the 29. It's second down and 6. And time has expired at the end of the first quarter of play here at the Coliseum in Los Angeles. It's USC 6 and Notre Dame 3.
Keeping our country beautiful and saving energy. 2 good reasons why Alcoa supports aluminum can collections. Recycling saves 95% of the energy needed to make new metal from bauxite. Today, 1 out of 4 aluminum cans is recycled and used again. Tomorrow, maybe 1 out of 3. Someday, maybe every one of them.
We can't wait. We can't wait for tomorrow. Alcoa can't wait. We love baseball, hot dogs, apple pie, and Chevrolet.
You sure are getting behind Chevy's new midsize Malibu, America. And why not? It's got the right mileage estimates, the right size, the right feel, the right look, and the right room. And for a lot of folks, it's got the right name, too. Chevy Malibu. The 79 Chevy Malibu could be just right for you.
A freshness slice of apple pie called Chevy Malibu.
You know, when it comes to business insurance, Fireman's Fund fits almost everyone, large or small. It helps cover a business as gigantic as the Boeing Company or the size of Santa Barbara's airport. A clothing manufacturer as worldwide as Levi Strauss or a clothing store as local as Thielen. It even covers just about every state building in Nevada. So for your business, see an independent agent who represents Fireman's Fund. Large or small, this hat is just your size. In the yellow pages, Fireman's Fund Insurance Companies.
Dick Sacco aboard Traveler 3. in front of the student section, USC side of the field, as the Trojans lead the Irish 6-3. It is second down and 6 yards to go, Southern Cal. Their ball at their own 29-yard line. Dick Rockshani is in motion. And the pitch to Charles White. And Rockshani, that big 220-pound flanker, becomes a blocking back on that sweep play. And it explodes as Charles White takes them out for a first down.
Let's watch the base play. This is the key play in the Southern Cal offense, the pitch sweep. Watch him turn up the field after the block by Hunter. 21 Kane tries to get Restic out of the way, but Restic gets him to the ground after a big gain.
I tell you, if Restic had gone down under Kane's block, Browner and White would have had a fair foot race. It is first down just outside the 40 for Southern Cal. The fullback Kane cuts it back over the middle. And Kane read it just right himself, because he could very well have gone down at the line of scrimmage, but cutting back to his left in heavy going turned in a good gain. Those are the numbers in the first quarter.
You can see that Southern Cal has moved the ball fairly effectively. 5 first downs, total offense 78 to Notre Dame 30.
Football is sitting up at the 47-yard line. They've got to go to the Notre Dame 49 for the first down, second down, and a short 4. Williams is in motion this time. McDonald on second and short goes to the air. He hits Calvin Sweeney with it. First down at the Notre Dame 41-yard line as Sweeney cut right in front of Dave Waymer.
Keith, Southern Cal is using a variety of motion and formations, but let's watch Sweeney push deep. Watch him go deep. He got the halfback dropping as if he was going deep. McDonald's right on the money before Waymer can make the play.
Work for 12 yards, first down, Notre Dame 41 in the second quarter, 13:49 to go. Garcia in motion now at the flanker. McDonald gives it to Charles White. White runs it up the middle to the 35. Hankard, number 47, had penetrated and was right there. So was Mike Calhoun, 77, but he ran right through them. And finally it was Golick and Gibbons who brought him down.
The pumping action of White's legs is something to really behold. He moves those legs so that it takes more than an initial hit to get him on the ground. You've got to gang tackle him, as we say in coaching.
Charlie came in to play that hot dog position, and one of the first words he said, "I'm going to win me 2 Heismans," but the last year or so, he's been pretty quiet about that. Just goes out and does his thing. McDonald's pass going deep in the corner for Garcia. Touchdown!
McDonald's pass complete to Dan Garcia. 35 yards for a touchdown.
Here it is. Watch Garcia run the fly pattern, but what sets up the success of the play is that McDonald is looking the other way, faking to the right. Gibbons loses the ball, and then Garcia's got more speed right here. Watch him drop it down right in the breadbasket. Touchdown.
Second touchdown catch of the year for young Dan Garcia. And Southern California goes out to a 12-3 lead at 12:56 to go in the first half. They go for 2. White still in the ball game. There's a timeout apparently on the field for Southern California. And it looks like they will go for the 2 points.
Steve, that was a 13th touchdown pass against Notre Dame this year. That's most unusual for a team with an 8-2 record.
That's the one thing that really jumped out at me in looking at the comparative stats of the 2 teams, which led me to make that suggestion earlier in their telecast that we would see whether or not the Trojan secondary had the speed of foot, really, as much as anything, to keep up with Southern California's Sweeney, Williams, Garcia at all.
Keith, most coaches will say that a wet turf favors the receiver because he knows where he's going. And when he makes his cut, the defensive back then has to change, and sometimes his foot will slip a little bit, but not on that case. Garcia just ran right by Gibbons, 27, the right halfback.
And Southern California will go for the 2 points. McDonald now in the ball game, 6 for 9, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not a bad beginning.
Second quarter again. What were those?
Danny?
That's unbelievable how many times Southern Cal has scored in the second quarter.
Thank you. Going for 2. 3 tight ends in the lineup. to throw it. Rakhshani was open. He throws to Hunter, and Hunter grabs it, and it's 14-3. So he had Rakhshani open, but didn't see it. Then he picked up Hunter coming across the end zone. The two-point play works at 12:56 to go.
I may have a bar in my office, but Lawson has a Sony.
Darn. I thought they were going to give me a Sony.
Most people feel very special about Sony Trinitron Color TVs, probably because Sony Trinitron Color TVs are very special. You see, it's not just a TV, it's a Sony.
Dad, I have a date coming over tonight. Can I borrow the Sony?
Stanley presents the Cube, a simple solution to a lot of storage problems. It's a Stanley do-it-yourself project that's easy to do when you use Stanley tools to help you do it right, like the Stanley Surfform for smoothing edges. In no time, you'll be building bedroom cubes, kitchen cubes, bathroom cubes, a cube system for your stereo system, sleeping cubes, sewing cubes, working cubes, playing cubes. The Cube, a do-it and do-it and do-it-yourself project from Stanley, the do-it-yourself company.
Stanley, we want to help you do things right.
So Paul McDonald zeroing in on the Irish secondary sends USC out to a 14-3 lead. Here in the first half, Frank Jordan will kick it off. The deep men for Notre Dame, Jim Stone and Randy Harrison. Harrison is number 8 and Stone is number 42. This time Jordan got it. Harrison. Randy comes back to the 23. Another look at the touchdown.
Keith, here's Garcia going deep on the fly pattern. You wonder why he can run by a halfback like that. Well, McDonald was faking in the backfield. Gibbons made the mistake. Watch the extra point. The description that Robinson had about McDonald, quarterback, cool. There he is. Watch it. Just this. Now he spots Hunter open. 2 points. What a play.
And Notre Dame goes to work first down at their own 23. Holohan in motion. Ball is given to Ferguson out of the tailback position. He is decked right about the line of scrimmage. Dennis Johnson, number 56 linebacker, stayed at home and met him solid. Now here comes that second quarter, and remembrance, now USC has run up the total to 125 points this season against only 6 for the opposition.
Keith, as John Robinson said, they had good field position in the second quarter. It made it a little easier in those early games.
The ankle has been wrapped, as you can see, the left ankle. Second down and 10, Notre Dame from the 23. Montana wants to throw it. Jimler almost got him. Pass is thrown. The pass is incomplete. He was almost picked off. Coming over there was number 35, Ricky Gray, and the freshman linebacker out of Tucson almost picked it off. Vegas Ferguson was out there.
I think that Montana made a great play, Keith, just to get away from the rush and avoid a loss. But Ricky Gray stood right with Ferguson all the way and could have intercepted that, but had his hands on it.
Going in at the fullback spot, Pete Buchanan, a freshman out of Plymouth, Indiana. And Pete Pallas rotating at fullback, and occasionally Jerome Evans has been in there, but Jerome still with a sore leg. It is third down and 10. Montana to throw. He sends it over the middle. It is deflected. The pass was intended for number 86, Dean Mastak, the tight end. Dennis Johnson, number 56, reached in and hooked it out of sight.
That was a sensational play by Johnson. It would have been a big gainer had he not been about 6'4" and was sprinting back trying to protect that open zone in front of the 2 safety defense. Southern Cal lined up.
Montana now 1 out of 7 for 22 yards in the ball game. Joe Restick will punt. Raymond Butler deep. Restick's kick is a good one. Butler backs up to the 32. Dances around, gets out to the 37, a 44-yard punt by Joe Restick, so there's certainly nothing wrong with that kicking foot. This Friday, December 1, the annual between Texas and Texas A&M at 9 Eastern Time. We'll kick it off in Austin at 8:10. Yo, come on out to the stadium in Austin and join us on Friday night. That is always a good one between the Longhorns and the Aggies.
Well, Keith, you've always said that's not only bragging rights, that's recruiting rights also.
There's a timeout on the field with 11 minutes and 56 seconds to play. in the first half, and Southern California leading Notre Dame by a score of 14-3.
Keith, on that last drive, Southern Cal moved 75 yards in 6 plays for their touchdown.
Now we're ready to go. First down, SC, 37. Williams and Sweeney double wide left. McDonald gives the ball to the tailback, Charles White. White trying to get around the corner. Waymer was out there and finally shoved him aside.
Sheer speed kept White from being tackled for a loss. In the backfield was Golick. Collision by Lynn Kane on the blast play, and he went naked outside and just outrun most of the Notre Dame defense. Outran them.
From the 37 out near the 44, second down, about 4 yards for the first down. Dwight Ford is your tailback now. Again, they send Williams and Sweeney double wide. McDonald to the second man. Ford, nothing there for Dwight. Hammered down right at the line of scrimmage. Bob Golick, number 55, that middle linebacker out of Willowick, Ohio. Now McDonald has a look at the sidelines. The plays are being wig-wagged in from the sidelines.
You always wonder, Keith, whether somebody's going to steal it or not when you wig-wag it.
Or if your quarterback has taken a shot and he's a little bit glassy-eyed and doesn't read it just right.
And looks at you with a blank look.
Yes. At the 44. Third down and 3. They send Dwight Ford in motion, gives him 3 wide men over there as McDonald rolls that way. He goes complete to Sweeney. And Sweeney is caught and dragged down by Dave Waymer. If Waymer doesn't get him, it's goodbye.
That was beautiful execution by McDonald and Sweeney. He's going to run a simple curl route, but they're in man for man. No one in front. It's to help on the play, and of course, Sweeney's wide open.
And it's 15 yards on the pass play for USC at a first down at the Notre Dame 41-yard line. McDonald now 103 yards in passing. Trojans leading 14-3. Send Williams in motion. Now he comes back this way. And McDonald gives it to Williams. The ball is fumbled. Notre Dame should get it. And they do. Covering the ball is Jay Case, defensive end. So faulty ball handling between McDonald and Williams. The ball comes loose. Weston was there to get involved and take Williams out of the play, leaving Case to recover.
Here it is on the replay. It was reversed to the flank of Williams. It looked like he had the ball momentarily and then just threw it as he was starting to run and avoid Notre Dame tackle Weston, number 74.
And so the first turnover of the ball game, as you see it one more time.
You see the motion, the variety of things that they're doing to try to confuse the Notre Dame defense, but he never had a handler.
Montana rolls outside, wanted to throw it, but has to pull it down. There was simply nobody within his vision, and he runs all the way across the field and runs out of bounds, and there's a penalty flag back out in the middle of the field. That's the first one of the ball game. 10 minutes and 31 seconds. The call goes against Notre Dame. This program, a special exclusive of ABC Sports. Let's pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves.
Channel 7, KGO TV, San Francisco.
42-yard line for clipping.
So the Fighting Irish absorb a 15-yard clipping penalty. The ball is moved all the way back to the 42-yard line. So instead of having a rather nice opportunity as a result of the turnover, they are backed up by their own mistake.
It forces you to change your offensive strategy into long gain of plays, and of course the defense customarily adjusts to a preventive defense.
And it's first down and 25 for the Irish. Evans gives the ball away to Holohan. Holohan's all the way back to the 25-yard line, and down he goes. It was Dennis Edwards, a freshman tackle out of Stockton, California, who had penetrated into the backfield and messed up the double reverse.
That's what we're talking about, Keith. You have to run those special type plays. Here it is, a double reverse, pitch to Evans. He's going to hand off back to Holloman, who's going to throw the pass. He tried to get possession enough time to throw. The receiver was down deep in behind Southern Cal secondary, but he could not get the pass off.
A loss of 17 yards. Remember now, Notre Dame had the ball down at the Southern California 43. A 15-yard clipping penalty. Now it is a 17-yard loss. It is second down and 42. as Montana wants to throw it and does. Holohan going deep, and he's got it. And he gets it back and gets the first down. He got behind Carter Hartwig.
Keith, watch Holohan, who's a former quarterback in high school. He doesn't have blazing speed, but Hartwig has been injured, and watch him run right by him, and the ball is perfectly thrown.
And it's a first down for the Fighting Irish at the Southern California 29.
They're moving
What
it
a
around,
play!
aren't
Out of the I formation, Montana gives it to the fullback. And Jerome Evans punches in for a couple of 3 yards. But let's go back to the pass play.
Watch Montana. Fake, held the secondary just momentarily. Watch him throw up, moving to the left, and it's absolutely perfect. Watch it drop down in Holohan's arms. If he could kept his feet, he would have scored. Keith, the amazing thing to me is Southern Cal's change of defensive strategy into a blitzing, crashing, stunning type of defense rather than the 5-2 contained type that they've used in the past. It's been very effective for them.
8:35 to go in the first half. The football is sitting at the Southern California 25-yard line. Second down and 6. Ball is given to Vegas Ferguson. He cuts it back into the middle, and he's formed down at the 23-yard line. So it's going to be third down and about 5. Gary Cobb among the first to get there, as you see Dan Devine on the sideline.
Southern Cal defense has as much lateral speed, Keith, as any, I think, in America. All of those youngsters can run, particularly that Ty Sperling, the defensive tackle, number 63.
He's already had one quarterback sack today. Their scores out of the Big Ten country. Wisconsin winning big today. Third down, let's call it 4. Montana has a throw. Throws it short. Ball is batted down by number 57, Larry McGrew, an outside linebacker. So let's see if Dan Devine elects to go with a kicking team again. He got a 47-yard field goal out of Joe Eunice to get him on the board in the first quarter. 14-3, Southern California leading with 7:47 to go in the first half.
Keith, on that last pattern, Madison, the tight end, was open. Montana could not get him the ball.
No kick. On fourth down and 4, Montana under pressure from McGrew. Delivers it to Evans, but then Evans is flatted by Ricky Gray, number 35. And so at 7:42, Southern California holds and takes over the ball with a lead of 14-3 here in the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum.
The new Minolta XG7 35mm reflex camera is automatic, so you can concentrate on the action while the XG7 sets itself. All you do is focus and press the button. The optional auto winder even advances the film for you. With the XG7, you can change lenses fast, too. The Minolta XG7. Try it. You'll fall for it.
Gee, Mr. Goodwrench, I don't know. It's going ka-thump, ka-thump, ka-thump.
Ka-thump, ka-thump, ka-thump.
Yeah.
Mr. Goodwrench understands your GM car. He has special GM training and GM equipment available to help him analyze your car and diagnose the problem.
No more ka-thump. Thanks.
Keep that great GM feeling.
Mr. Goodwrench?
With genuine GM parts.
I understand.
America is changing. Too many problems. Too big. Too complex. The old answers do not work. It's a crisis, all right. Where will we find the new leadership? In our colleges. College. It's worth it.
Rocky Ballinger handling the Goodyear Blimp Columbia, which leaves right after this ball game and heads north to San Francisco, where it'll be a platform for our camera on Monday Night Football next Monday. First down, Southern California at their own 24-yard line as McDonald turns and hands to Charles White. And White from the 29 across the 30 to the 31 for 2. Kind of low clouds drifting in, but a lot of blue sky to be seen in the Los Angeles Basin today. Second down and 8 coming up for Southern California, leading by a score of 14-3, 7 minutes and 10 seconds to play in the first half. Sweeney and Williams come wide left. McDonald on second down to throw. Gets his pass off over the middle. The pass is incomplete, intended for Kevin Williams. He had double coverage that time. Joe Resnick was the man that slapped that ball away. Here's one of the problems you've got when you've got a big old horse named Golick on the other side who is all football player.
When you have to keep Golick off the passer, you've got to double team him as Southern Cal does. First with the center Peters, and then over the right guard for Brad Buddy. And he still gets back there. Look at him just plow right through.
Spend a lot of energy, though. You've got to be a little tired if you're fighting a double team all day when you get down into that fourth quarter. Third down and 8. Rockshani, the man in motion. Charles White has it. There's that student body right again, and White runs to the first down, dives at the marker, and he's going to be close to it. When you run that particular play, you can see very obviously number 71, Brad Buddy, who is the pulling guard, the other guard being Pat Howell. And when Rockshani, a 220-pounder, goes in motion and cuts right into the thick of things, you really have 3 big blockers out there in front of him. There's a Notre Dame man down on the field, Bob Golick, shaken up on the play.
That would hurt Notre Dame's chances. Let's watch Golick, number 55, back at linebacker on this scheme of defense. He recognizes the pitch sweep. Let's see what happens to him as he penetrates right there. Buddy, number 71, knocks him down. Just knocks him down.
Looks like a pretty good right cross to me.
Or the pulling guard is just escort. Let's look at it again. This is the perfect execution of the number 1 play that Southern Cal must make successful. You can see number 21, Keene, 71, Brady, and then number 80 out leading the play. That is some interference, escorting him down the field.
He did get his first down at the 40-yard line. Now Golick is up, walking away, and he's going to be all right. One of the things that a lot of you might not know as to the development of this so-called power I formation, one of the people that motivated John McKay as much as anybody to come up with it was a guy named Frank Broyle, because he had a bunch of raging, screaming demons playing all kinds of stunning floating defenses at Arkansas, and as a result, to take away some of the heat from the stunning defense that Frank had evolved at Arkansas, McKay came up with this particular option type of thing with the tailback doing the option.
And being able to run both ways, that's what hurt us, Steve.
Pete Johnson is now into the lineback position, replacing Golick, who's out for the moment. He'll be back. First down, Trojans at the 40. Ball is given to the fullback, Lynn Kane. Kane tries to dance over the right side, gets a little bit out of the play, about 3 yards before he goes down. 72, Ray Peters, a 225-pound senior out of Tahunga. Now, he was a defensive lineman, a nose guard, and Southern Cal went through about 5 centers, including 3 in one game at Tempe, and Peters stepped in to handle the chore. In 1 week, learned the job, and he's done an outstanding job ever since. Second down and 7 yards to go from the 43 for SC. Here's the pitch to White. This time he runs out of daylight on that side of the field as they roll him down at the 45. Jay Case and Jeff Weston, 75 and 74, just simply were not going to let him turn the corner.
You've got to turn that play back to the inside. You cannot let White circle you or forward, turn the corner outside. The key to stopping it, turn it back quickly.
Charles is now 14 carries and 63 yards. And we've got somebody else shaken up on the sidelines, and I believe this is a Trojan. It looks like it might be White. I don't want to guess at it. Let's wait and see who it is. It is Charles White, who is down on the sidelines. He went down in a heap over there underneath a big pile of white shirts. So Charles is down.
Brad, think about coming back. Keep looking at the Notre Dame and look at the Notre Dame defense. McDonald's had so much success passing that their linebackers are playing a little bit deeper than normal. Their safety men are playing back, playing for the pass, and this is setting up the runs to the wide side. Let's see how White was injured on this particular play. It may be, let's see, he fell on the football, it looks like. believe that's what happened. Probably knocked the air.
Well, Jake Case is 229 pounds, and Jeff Weston's 258 pounds, and they were both on top of him when he went down. With the ball underneath him, just not that much room for the breath area to expand, or
the air comes right out.
Comes right out, yeah. A 14-3 ball game, SC leading, 5:40 to go in the first half, and Dwight Ford is in at tailback. Marcus Allen might be the next one we'd see. And I'll tell you about him before the day's done. He figures he's the next big tailback at SC. He came here as a defensive player, but he's a freshman, and he wants to play that tailback position. Ford comes in motion, and here's McDonald back to throw on third down. He gets it off to the sidelines. Ford has it. Ford going for the first down. He has that. And it's first down Southern Cal at the Notre Dame 47-yard line. And there's a penalty flag thrown back upfield, and it's going to be a foul, I think, against Southern Cal. As Golick on the sidelines. Got a hurt knee, and he may be done for the day with a knee hurt. No, they're going to call the foul against Notre Dame, roughing the passer.
Keith, under the new rules, the penalty is at the end of the play because the ball had already been thrown and completed. That is very damaging to Notre Dame.
Football is moved all the way to the 31-yard line. So the Irish, a little too exuberant in their attack on the Southern California quarterback, Charles White. Charlie's all right. He'll be back. Golick may not come back. And so the personal foul penalty against Notre Dame now gives Southern California the ball at the Irish 31. And here's that second quarter field position again. Time is called on the field. It is charged to Southern California. At 5:16 to play, they have one timeout remaining.
When you shoot a lot of pool and bars, you want to stay fast and loose. And you don't want to get filled up. That's why I drink light beer from Miller. Got a third less calories than their regular beer, and it's less filling. Plus, the taste is great. And even though a lot of people don't think pool is strenuous, let me tell you something. You can work up a real good thirst, even when you're just showing off.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Hannigan, Flanagan, Mulligan.
The firm of Hannigan, Flanagan, Mulligan, Finnegan, Gilligan, and Logan had a big name, but a small office. Too small for a copier with an automatic sorter, until Xerox created the 3400 small copier. With its automatic sorter, it made up to 15 sets of documents in a small amount of time and a small amount of space.
Thank you.
Which made Hannigan, Flanagan, Mulligan, Finnegan, Gilligan, Logan,
Thank you.
and O'Rourke very happy.
Next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, Georgia battles Georgia Tech. And it's for the Army-Navy game, a classic clash, all next Saturday on ABC.
Bob Golick, the middle linebacker for Notre Dame, hurting on the sidelines. May not be back. He's got ice on his left knee. It's Southern California's football. First down at the Irish 31. Trojans with 14, Irish with 3, and USC now getting down in that good field position one more time. And they are there as a result of, 1, the pass play, and 2, roughing the passer penalty against Notre Dame. Ford again goes in motion, gives them 3 wide men on that side of the field, but they give it away to the fullback, Lynn Kane, and he breaks it big inside the 20-yard line, and Pat Howell, number 66, is the man that made that play work. The left side guard just blew the hole for Kane.
What a beautiful play and call that was on first down. They anticipated the big rush. The defense charged. It was a draw play, and Kane literally exploded through it.
Runs very well in the heavy going.
Does he?
At the 19, just short of the 19, first down, Southern Cal.
Oh, come on.
Butler is out wide to the right side. McDonald looking that way. He's going for the corner for Williams, and he's just over his head. Defending on the play, Dave Waymer, 34, Joe Restick, 7.
That pass had to be absolutely perfect because it was well covered. You can see Williams. He's the inside man. He's going to run a corner route. McDonald tries to lay it up. Did hit his hands, but went incomplete.
Well, Kevin's trying to grab that thing as it was coming down, wasn't he? It is second down and 10 from just inside the Notre Dame 20-yard line. Williams has gone out, and Garcia has come back. Garcia and Williams have scored touchdowns for Southern Cal. Ball is given to Charles White. White runs in the middle, and his first contact comes with the defensive end Hankard, and he sort of forced him back into the middle, and then Weston put him away.
Keith, this drive started on Southern Cal's own 29. They are mixing up their plays to where Notre Dame is off balance. They don't know whether to rush. They don't know whether to tighten up and stop them up the middle, move wide. They've just confused their defensive strategy.
Big play here, 3rd down 8 from the Irish 17. Sweeney is back in, and Butler's gone out. Must have checked it off at the line of scrimmage. Took too much time. That'll cost them 5.
He saw the man-for-man rush coming, and he wanted to check to Williams on Bruno. There's 33, their safety man. I'm sure he felt like he had a mismatch.
So they back him up 5 to near the 22-yard line with 4:02 to go in the first half. Southern California threatening, but this is now 3rd down, and they need about 12.5 yards for the first down. Williams and Sweeney wide right. White's going over there to join him. McDonald pass. Protection's good. The pass thrown incomplete, intended for Rakshani. The tight end who had gone down tried to hook out, and he was not able to plant his foot and get to the outside.
Keith, the tight end's not supposed to run a post corner, but that's what he did. He came inside on Gibbons, and when he broke back out, he was open. McDonald was just a little off the mark.
And so Frank Jordan is in with a kicking tee. He puts it down at the 29. It'll be a 39-yard field goal attempt out of Marty King's hole. Got enough leg. And it's good. So Jordan knocks one through from 39 yards, and from between the 30 and 39, he is now 6 for 9 this season at 3:53 to go in the first half. Southern Cal builds the lead to 17-3. College football 78 with Bill Fleming. We'll have highlights of the Pitt-Penn State game, Notre Dame, USC, Michigan, Ohio State, Purdue, Indiana, Clemson, South Carolina, Arkansas, SMU. Check the local listing for the program on your ABC station.
Notre Dame has had very poor field position. They've started with the ball on their 21, their 12, their 31, their 44, their 23. At one time, they got a chance when Southern Cal fumbled on the reverse play, but couldn't make it go after a penalty. Turned the ball over.
Randy Harrison and Jim Stone are the deep men. Stone, a sophomore out of Seattle. Harrison's a senior out of Hammond, Indiana. And Jordan will now kick it off for USC. He kicks it toward Harrison. Randy takes it at the 2. And he gets back to the 18. Down he goes. So there again, Notre Dame gets the ball with relatively poor field position. And it's soft right in that area.
Southern Cal just has too much lateral movement and speed to have any consistency running the football, and particularly on a wet field like this, damp field like this, Keith. Going to have to go to the air.
Haynes comes up to the right side. Holohan goes to the left side. Joe Montana sets him now. He has Vegas Ferguson as the deep man. He'll put it in the air. He does. The pass is incomplete. And the pass intended for Mazdak, the tight end, a freshman out of Toledo, Ohio. And we've got a man down on the field as Houston has, for the first time today, gone ahead of Texas Tech by a score of 21-14. And in the third quarter, Baylor just jumping all over the Longhorns, 35-7. It looks like Tim Huffman is the Irishman shaken up on the field, a big sophomore out of Dallas. So time is out, 3:44 to go, first half.
The big news for 79 is from Chevrolet. The new Chevy Monza 2+2 hatchback. More car for less money and a lot more kick. Now, standard equipment includes tinted glass, AM radio, shift console, sports steering wheel, white striped tires, body side molding, bucket seats, carpeting, a hatchback, and more. All standard, and all for less than what last year's Chevy Monza 2+2 would have cost with the same equipment. That's more car, more kicks for less money. New Chevy Monza.
I don't just drive race cars. I know what goes on inside an engine, too. That's why I use Haviland 10W40. It was tested in state trooper cars for protection. And in a test against the leading 10W40 oil advertising extra gasoline mileage, Haviland couldn't be beaten. So whether you have your oil changed at a Texaco station or
if you do it yourself.
Right. Do it with trooper-tested, mileage-tested Haviland.
We haven't had the crowd count as yet, but it's got to be close to 80,000 people here in the Coliseum on second down and 10 for Notre Dame. John Leone's in at guard. Huffman walked off. He'll be back. Montana under pressure. Down he goes. Tyrone Spurley. Spurling, who had 3 sacks last week. He's got his second one today. Boy, is he quick.
Let's watch the replay. Number 63, the fastest lineman probably in Southern Cal's history. Watch him run around the Notre Dame blockers. Number 69, I guess Leone, who just come into the ball game, sacked him.
All the way back to the 9-yard line, where it is third down. Well, they're without a healthy Heavens, and we still think that Ferguson may be a bit lame himself. Montana on third and long, puts it up. Haynes dives, can't get it. Ball thrown behind him. Ward was over there covering, and Gray had dropped from a linebacker position into that zone. Montana now 3 for 12 in passing and 62 yards, and there's Tom Lasorda among those enjoying the ball game today. That's Rod Dado right there in the middle, and Lawrence Welk, golfing buddy from Bel Air. Rod Dado is the baseball coach at USC, and he's a man to be familiar with because they do grind them out in the baseball program here. Out of the end zone, Resnick's punt. It's a beauty. Butler backs all the way back to his 46 to get it. Dives back across midfield to the Notre Dame 45. That was a 45-yard punt with good hang time by Joe Resnick. And Southern California now with 2:48 to play in the first half. Well, they're in striking position again. That's what we'll have for you at halftime today. We'll look back at the Wolverines and Buckeyes. We'll have news. We'll have the SC marching band and scores. First down, Trojans at the Irish 49. That's Shiny to the right. Sweeney comes out to the left side. Charles White. First down.
Hey, Keith, what a run. That's as fine a 10-yard run as you'll see anytime.
Watch this pulling guard, number 71, Brad Buddy, as he does his thing in front of the ball carrier.
Brad Buddy pulled and just escorts the ball carrier on this particular play. Wouldn't you like to follow a young man, 260 pounds, like Brad Buddy, as he meets in the hole, the linebacker Whittington? Big play by White.
First down for SC at the Notre Dame 38-yard line. McDonald to throw it. Browner has it, and down he goes as Browner on a safety blitz got his man.
Keith, when you get in this field position, the other team are moving the football, you better come with some kind of blitz. Safety blitz, linebacker blitz. You've got to give them a bad play, and that's exactly what happened. 10-yard loss.
It'll be second down and 20. The ball is put back at the 49-yard line. Browner just stepped outside, and there was nothing between him and Paul McDonald except a lot of soft turf and cool Southern California air. McDonald will throw it. Pass is caught by Sweeney, and Sweeney dives for the first down. He's close to it. Got away from Resnick and Gibbons and made the catch.
Keith, watch Gibbons get lost. You're going to see Sweeney fake inside, and Gibbons loses him, and finally has to come back and try to get into play, but it's too late. Pushes him out of bounds, first down. Here you'll see it again. Watch McDonald from the end zone. Good shot for coaches. We like to watch film. You look at the quarterback's eyes. There he is, right on target for the big play.
And it's first down at the Notre Dame 28-yard line. It's Charles White. And White is caught and brought down by 74, Jeff Weston. Big tackle. Charlie had his convoy going around the corner, but Weston penetrated and got him from the back.
If Weston had made the play, well, I believe you'd agree it could have been a touchdown because Brady and all the lead blockers were out in front of him.
Just inside a minute to go now in the first half. The football is sitting at the Notre Dame 27, second down, 9. Williams and Sweeney both wide left. Now they move Williams in motion. McDonald back to throw. What a block. McDonald passes away. Williams just over his head. Oh, that's close. I said what a block. I got to tell you that as Jim Browner was trying to blow in there and make a play, Charles White picked him up, and he just totaled it.
Let's see if we can see it on the right of your screen.
No,
you can't see it. It was nearly one of those perfect passes again as Williams had run in and to the flag, just out of his reach.
So with 42 seconds to play in the first half, it is third down and 9 from the Notre Dame 27. Irish secondary is under assault by the Trojan Air Corps. McDonald goes, and it is intercepted right into the hands of Browner. Pass was intended for Garcia. McDonald tried to force it, and this time he got burned. So Paul McDonald with 110 yards in, let's see, 110 passes without interception has his string broken. Jerry Swanson's trying to straighten me out on it.
He's a long way from the national record, though. He was 198 by Jerry Rome of Tulsa in 1964 without an interception.
Joe Restic, the free safety of Notre Dame, is shaken up on that last play as he tried to help form the wedge to bring Browner back upfield. But Browner just stepped right in front of the intended receiver Garcia, and the ball was hummed in there by Paul McDonald, breaking his string of passes without interception at 110.
The defense that was playing too deep secondary, and McDonald held the ball just a little bit too long.
In that 35-14 ball game between Texas and Baylor, we understand the Longhorns turned the ball over 4 times, and the Baylor Bears cashed in all 4.
Baylor's had a very tough year. This is something that could save their program to a certain extent. They've lost, what, 8 games and won only 2.
A lot of them were tough losses. We saw Restic wanting to get up, but they're keeping him down on the ground. Keith Van Horn, the offensive right side tackle for Southern California, is another youngster that's showing some of the wear and tear, and now Restic is coming off. And Restic is a double loss for Notre Dame. He's not only one of the outstanding defensive secondary people for them, he's their punter.
Chief coaches fear a little bit of a damp, wet field. We've always felt that more injuries occur on this type of field than any other.
Let me correct the stat that we just gave you a few minutes ago. This is from the official score. It's now 112 passes by Paul McDonald without interception. I want you to read the paper tomorrow and see a different number. Van Horn has a shoulder problem. So Keith has hurt his shoulder. All right, it's first down for Notre Dame as Montana drops back to pass from his 22-yard line. Puts it up for grabs out of bounds. Ronnie Lott back there defending against Chris Haynes. And it'll be second down and 10 with 26 seconds to play in the first half, and the Irish trying to hit one.
Of course, the secondary is playing very deep with just 6 seconds to go on the clock, and trying to give them something short to be sure that they don't hit the ball.
McDonald is on his way to the clubhouse along with Keith Van Horn. So there are 2 Trojan regulars who don't feel they're going to have to come out and do anything with the offensive unit, so they're getting an early trip to the locker room. Both of them banged up a little bit. It's second down and 10. Fumble by Montana. Ball bounces up to Joe. He's going deep with it. And it is incomplete, thrown out of bounds. Dave Waver, who started out as a wide receiver at Notre Dame and has then switched to the defensive secondary. Dave is in there as an offensive player right now, and he was going down under that pass. Joe Restic is another one headed for the clubhouse. So we're The benches, the population on the bench getting a little thin on both sides.
I guess we've had more interest so far in this half, Keith, than any game I've seen this year. Good hard hit.
Yes, sir. Ferguson goes into the lineup for the Fighting Irish with 20 seconds to play in the first half, and it's 3rd and 10 from the 22. They run a draw. And they run it well, about 9 yards, close to a first down. 12 seconds now as the Irish spin their last time out. Is that their last? How many more do they have? They have 2 more.
Timeout is called by Notre Dame. First down.
So Notre Dame calls time with a score 17-3, Southern California leading, only 12 seconds remaining to play in the first half. And a lot of frontline people have been jarred, bruised, and shaken up. And next Saturday, we'll wind up the regular season as Georgia plays Georgia Tech at 12:30 Eastern Time. It's Willie McClendon for Georgia and Ivory for Georgia Tech. A couple of the great young running backs. Eddie Lee has really had a heck of a year, #1 in all-purpose running in the country. And then at 4 Eastern Time from Kennedy Stadium in Philadelphia, it'll be Army and Navy. Navy's had a pretty good year. Going to play in a bowl game, the Holiday Bowl down in San Diego. Now, you talk about hitting. Watch what's been going on out here. Let's go back to that last pass pattern and watch Chris Haynes coming downfield. He runs into Herb Ward, and they go down in a heap.
That's legal before the ball is thrown. You can't tackle him. You can block him. That looked a little bit like a tackle.
And there's Willie Crawford, number 30, who stepped in there instead of Herb Ward. All right. It is a first down for Notre Dame with 12 seconds to play. Ball is fumbled, and Montana covers it at the 30-yard line, and I'm sure rolls over and calls a timeout. It does. So they use 5 seconds on the fumble, and 7 seconds remain. The Irish spending the timeout. They'll get one more play.
Keith, in talking to John Robinson about his strategy, he said offensively he was going to gear it up on every possession. He was going to throw from anywhere on the field. He felt like he had to because he didn't think his defense could hold Notre Dame, but they had.
That fellow in the striped shirt, Don Linger, the defensive coach for Southern Cal. Ball is at the 30 now, 2nd down, and Notre Dame with 3 wide receivers to the open side of the field. This is one of those, I'll throw it as far as I can, you guys run as fast as you can, and we'll see what happens. And what happens is an interception by Dennis Smith. And Southern California has the ball. Time has run out in the first half of play. And the score at halftime, Southern Cal 17, Notre Dame 3. So we'll be back more after this word from our local station and a word about an upcoming ABC program. Touchdown.
Keith, Kevin is breaking right in front of the safety man. The pass was letter perfect, one of the most difficult to defend against in football. Let's look at it from another view. Williams is going to get in behind the linebackers, break across the middle. The pass has got to be perfect. It was. Resnick, number 7, tried to stop him. He couldn't. 10 touchdowns for Kevin Williams out of 16 receptions. On the second one, you can see that McDonald is rolling to the right. Tom Gibbons, number 27, makes the cardinal mistake of stepping to the inside just a little bit to allow Garcia to get in behind him. Another letter-perfect pass from Paul McDonald. 2 touchdowns.
And we have finally reached an agreement now. I'm not sure if it's absolutely, totally solid, but our statistician, Mike Swanson, and the official statistician have agreed it's 111 passes. Paul McDonald had his string broken without an interception. The pass intercepted by Jim Browner. At the close of the first half, there was a pass that I'm sure Paul would tell you that he should not have thrown because he did try to force the ball in. Notre Dame has come back onto the field now. We saw Bob Golick, the great middle linebacker for the Irish, go out for the conference as the team captain before the start of the second half, and his limp was most obvious. Paul McDonald has been hobbling around some here in the second quarter as a result of an ankle sprain, and right now the roar as Traveler 3 comes thundering out of the tunnel and stops down in front of the crowd, running right in behind the Notre Dame bench. And it's pretty hard to hold a conversation with your team when that white horse comes out of that tunnel because the folks do react to it.
I was always afraid with Texas Tech he was going to run into me. You're right. No concentration by the team. It is a beautiful sight. Very unique.
Dick Sacco, the man, the granddaddy who rides him, and well into his 50s, did not attend Southern California. But he's about as feverish as any alumnus you'll ever run into when it comes to support of the SC football team. Notre Dame's offensive backfield, we anticipate these, the starters, with Ferguson, Pallas, and Holohan working behind Joe Montana. And up in front, it'll be Maztak instead of Grindinger. Grindinger's hurt. Martinovich, Huffman. Those are brothers. Dave is the senior and Tim is the sophomore. And Foley and Haynes. There is Golick on the sidelines. I don't know if we'll see much of him, though he seems to be walking with a little more freedom. Joe Montana has been under pressure the entirety of this ball game. He just hasn't had much room to work against USC. We'll see what happens here in the second half. As Southern California kicks off, Harrison will let it go through the end zone, and it will be the Irish ball first down at their 20. Southern California will send these people out to play defense. Myron Lapka, big defensive tackle. Rich Dimmler is the middle guard. Ty Sperling, young man we've called a couple of times with sacks. Dennis Johnson is one of the linebackers. Ricky Gray is a freshman linebacker. We'll show you the others in a moment as Notre Dame comes up on first down and 10 from their own 20. Southern California leading 17-3. Joe Montana pitches the ball to Jerome Heavens, and Heavens starts the second half at the tailback position. That's a position normally occupied by Vegas Ferguson. Heavens is coming off injury, and Ferguson has a slight groin pull. Rest of the Trojan defenders, Gary Cobb and Larry McGrew. Carter Hartwig is in the secondary for Southern California. Herb Ward, Dennis Smith, sophomore, number 49, and Ronnie Lott, the free safety, number 42. Tim Huffman, for the second time in the ball game, is shaken up on the play, and he's sitting down over there with the Notre Dame doctor and trainer. And they're talking about things, and Tim looks like he'll probably come off for a couple of plays and then come right back in.
Keith, one thing that's been noticeably absent in Notre Dame's offensive plans is the passes to the tight end. They've always been able to hit Mazdak in the other games for the big plays, but Dennis Johnson has been covering on most of the times, and he's been doing a good job.
Notre Dame now is plus 2 yards in rushing for the ball game. The ball is sitting right about the 25. It'll be second down and 5. And there are 5 defensive backs in the lineup now for Southern California. Crawford has come up on the line as Montana turns, gives the ball to Ferguson. Hartwig runs into him at about the 28-yard line and shoves him out of bounds. So Carter Hartwig coming up out of the secondary. He was actually playing in what amounted to a lineback position as he come up on the outside as Southern Cal showed him an 8-man front.
Keith, Heavens broke outside. The play was off tackle design, but when he broke outside, he was naked. Hartwig made an outstanding play to stop him short of a first down.
Just starting the second half of play. For Notre Dame, it's third down, 1.5 yards for the first down. Vegas Ferguson dives for it, and I think he's got it. All he had to do was put the football down on the 30, and that's just about what he got. Notre Dame showing a little tendency here early in the second half. I'm not sure that it means anything, but they seem to want to go toward the right side instead of the left.
And they want to stay on the ground, I think, a little bit, Keith, to try to establish some running to force those linebackers of Southern Cal and Yens to get involved in the running defense so that Montana can open up some passing game.
Tim Huffman has gone back into the lineup now. And it's first down Irish at the 30. Holohan in motion. Montana to throw. Throws the short pattern, and the pass is thrown behind the intended receiver. Incomplete. There was Grindinger in the ball game, playing with a very sore leg. He is not up to par. He is hurt, but he's playing some, not much. Oh, how do you do? Texas Tech jumped on Houston today, 22-21, but Houston will still go to the Cotton Bowl provided they beat Rice next week. The other Cotton Bowl team right now is losing here in Los Angeles. That's Heavens. And he's to the 32-yard line. This time they came back to the offensive left side, defensive right side, and Ricky Gray, along with Gary Cobb, pick it up and make the tackle at the 32, where it's 3rd down and 8 yards to go.
Southern Cal flip-flops their defensive men entirely. Lapka, the tackle, moves over to the tight end. Sperling goes to the split end. Makes a big difference in their defensive game plan.
3rd and 8. Montana with good protection. Gets his pass off. Intended for Chris Haynes, and it's incomplete. Defending on the play, Dennis Smith.
Keith, they called the penalty. Interference. Can't see the flag. He dropped it right on the sideline. It was a late hit by the second man up on number 82, Haynes. You can see the ball is a little bit long.
They bumped him right there.
But Smith bumped him just a little bit, 1st down. Let's look at it again from the end zone. It's a throwback pattern. Smith was right there. Haynes, they go up for it. Smith was not trying to get the ball in, therefore it's interference.
And it's a 1st down for Notre Dame at the Southern California 41-yard line. Irish punch one in here early in the second half. We've got a ball game. Give it to Vegas Ferguson. Ferguson from the 41 to the 39. 2 yards, 2nd and 8 coming up. Larry McGrew and Dennis Johnson on the play. One of the things about Haynes is Chris can burn you. He is a very swift one once he gets it going.
Knows how to run his pass routes. The Notre Dame coaches have often
in their first offensive possession of the ball game. That is the most authoritative movement that Notre Dame has made against USC this afternoon.
It was a flood pattern week. Montana was the 2nd man out. Herb Ward, number 23, could not react back. Knocks him right out of bounds.
1st down, Notre Dame at the SC 23. Montana still got it. Sets up the screen. Ferguson. And Ferguson, with one block, gets down to the 12-yard line. Number 76, Rob Martinovich. The tackle had come outside to block on the screen, and he did a pretty good job of it. It'll be 1st down, Notre Dame at the SC 12.
For the Irish, ball
Keith, that was
on the 12-yard line.
near perfect execution on the screen pass, as you'll see. It was a bootleg, roll away from the screen, throwback. Beautiful execution by Notre Dame.
Kevin Hart in there as a tight end position now. They send Holohan wide to the right side. Montana rolling around, throws it short. Pass is incomplete. The pass intended for Kevin Hart. Kevin had his hands on it, couldn't hold it. He's a senior out of Birmingham, Michigan, and yes, he is the son of Leon. Not quite as big as his daddy. He's 6'4", 220.
Notre Dame changed the play at the line of scrimmage because Southern Cal jumped into an 8-man blitz. Montana recognized it. The best man to go through is a tight end. A little bit off target, of that, had a nice completion.
Joe now 5 out of 19, 84 yards, 1 interception. 2nd down 10 from the SC 12. Send it in the middle with Jerome Evans carrying the ball. And he's down, looks like probably inside the 9-yard line. Ty Sperling made the tackle for Southern Cal.
So some of our viewers have wondered why they would run up the middle on that particular situation. It was a surprise play because Southern Cal had deployed into a pass coverage to prevent tight defense.
It is 3rd down and a good 7 yards to go for the 1st down. Ball just about the 9. Montana to throw it. Throws it incomplete. The blocking held up pretty well, but finally Dimler fought his way through it and forced Montana to unload the ball, and Joe simply could not reach the intended receiver, Holohan, number 31.
Here's Holohan. It was a flood pattern. You can see Ferguson going out in the flat. Holohan is trying to get open. Wow, 42. I guess that's Lott, Ron Lott. Comes very close to the interference.
Kind of snuggled up to him, didn't he?
Yes, he did. There's a little contact, though. Just wasn't seen by the officials.
26-yard field goal try by Joe Eunice. He hit a 47-yarder for the only other score of the ball game. He hit this one dead solid square and drills it right on through. And so at 11:21 to go in the third quarter, the score now, USC 17, Notre Dame 6.
Don't shave. Huh? I'm anti-friction.
Whoa.
With new Noxema anti-friction shave.
Does it work against nicks and cuts?
Oh, yes. Anti-friction is Noxema's blend of protective lubricants. They form a glide shield against nicks and cuts. You shave uncommonly smooth.
Shake it up with Noxema anti-friction shave. Anti-friction protects your face.
Anti-friction.
Chevy Truck's massive girder beam suspension system. Built tough to ride smooth. The heart is a massive girder beam with steel control arms that flex up and down, allowing wheels to step up and down independently over bumps and ruts to help smooth the ride. Chevy Truck's massive girder beam suspension. Built to take it year after year. It's the stuff tough trucks are made of. Chevy Trucks. Built to stay tough.
The Goodyear Blimp Columbia sailing overhead as we play football in the Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles. 17-6 ball game. And Notre Dame's Joe Eunice with his second field goal of the game will now kick off to Southern California. Irish cutting the Trojan lead to 11 points. Butler at the 14. And Raymond Butler runs it out to the 32-yard line. There is a penalty flag upfield. It looks like Southern California may get flagged for clipping. I saw Dave Waymer, the Notre Dame cornerback, clapping his hands, so that had to mean the penalty would be going against the Trojans, and normally it would be a clip, and that's what it is.
That's going to set Southern Cal back to their poorest field position so far in this ball game. Yep.
The offensive backfield for the Trojans expected to line up this way. McDonald, the sore left ankle, Charles White, Lynn Kane, and Kevin Williams. Up front, Hunter Van Horn. I'm not sure about Van Horn. He had a hurt shoulder in the first half. Buddy Peters, Howell, Page, and Sweeney. Well, Keith's in there. But Van Horn did come back to answer the call, and the ball is moved back to the 17-yard line of SC, where it's first down. Well, let's see if full momentum is put on a white shirt here in the second half. Charles White carries. I'll guarantee you Charles will not get hit much harder in his lifetime than he did right there by Steve Heimkreider. Jay Case is the defensive left end. Jeff Weston plays at the tackle. Mike Calhoun, the big senior from Ohio, and John Hankert, a sophomore, defensive end. Heimkreider, the man who just made that tackle. Bob Golick, who is going to play some in the second half, and Mike Whittington, linebacker. Right now, Pete Johnson is filling the hole at middle linebacker for Notre Dame. Golick has not yet come back. Second down and 8 for Southern Cal. McDonald sets it up, swings it out to White. White gets a good block out there from Pat Howell and goes on up the field. And he gets Southern California first down. Great big Pat Howell, who is one of the strongest men on the field. Now watch him, 6'6". He's going to slide outside, Frank, and really take somebody out of there.
He's the one that springs White for the extra yardage right there as he blocks number 51.
Pete Johnson.
Pete Johnson, the new linebacker. First down.
Out at the 33-yard line, a gain of 14 yards on that play. 17-6 ball game, and this time Brad Buddy moves before the snap count, and it'll cost SC 5. The defensive secondary for the Fighting Irish. Here's a look at a bunch of good-looking young fellas. There's Dave Waymer, cornerback junior. Tom Gibbons, a sophomore out of Virginia. Jim Browner, another one of the Browner brothers out of Warren, Ohio. And Joe Restick, the punter and safety man. It is first down and 15 for Southern California. The football back at the 27-yard line. McDonald to Charles White. That's just pure speed out to the 42-yard line.
Keith, that's all it was. You're exactly right. Just sheer speed. There's no reason in the world for Charles White to make yardage on this particular play as he did. First, he outruns the hand of number 72, Hardy Raymond. Then he outruns Bronner. Then he picks up the block. Sweeney, watch Sweeney make the block on Waymo.
It's second down and a yard from the 42 for the first down. Give it to Dwight Ford. And Ford stumbling a little bit at the Notre Dame 45. Keeps his balance. He might have been long gone.
What explosiveness these Southern Cal backs have. The blocking was set up over to the right of the offensive line. There was nothing there, but it didn't take Dwight Ford long to see some opening over behind Brad Buddy, and he broke right in behind him for the big play.
Well, that's a basic principle of this particular version of the I formation. You see the deep back, he lines up with his hands on his knees so that he can see those holes developing. That's like the old single-wing tailback. Frank Boyles played that position.
Played at it.
McDonald's pass is good. Calvin Sweeney at the Notre Dame 20-yard line. First down, Trojans. 22 yards pickup.
Keith, watch Calvin Sweeney on this. Number 24, a picturesque receiver. Breaking in the middle, holding up. The ball is right there. Look at his leaping ability. That's a sensational play. Very difficult timing. Fake of the draw play. Held the linebackers. Now the ball's thrown right over Johnson, number 51. 27, give it, hits him. But he holds on to it.
Calvin's caught 470 yards in the ball game. Pitch to Charles White back in there. And the sweep to the right gets to about the 18. Jammed up pretty well that time by Jim Browner and number 58, Steve Heimkreider.
Keith, I would hate to be calling defensive signals against the Southern Cal team today. They have mixed up their plays beautifully, inside, outside, and passing. Notre Dame cannot lose their strength in any one position, otherwise McDonald takes advantage of it.
Charles White now with 96 yards on 20 carries. Got it again, got a big hole, got a lot of help down the sideline. First down and goal to go. Southern California at the Notre Dame 5. Charlie now has gone over 100. He has 109.
Keith, watch it again. Rockshawty makes the key block right here as he turns prone out in the safety blitz. The ball carrier knows to break out and pick up your wide receiver. Watch 24. If you go ahead and cut the defensive back, I believe White might have scored.
That's 20 first downs now for USC as they have dominated the ball game. 8:17 to go in the third quarter. 17-6 and looking for some more on first and goal to go from the Notre Dame 5. Lynn Kane, the fullback. He's down to the 1-yard line. They put Rockshawty in motion. They had White lined up on the left side, split back. And when you've got that big old flanker going that way where you know he's going to become a blocking back and White's over there, I guess your natural tendency is to lean that way, and that gave Kane some room.
What happened, Keith, is they not only leaned, the linebackers moved over, and then Kane saw the little daylight and broke right in behind Howell at right guard.
So it's second down and goal to go from the 1. White, touchdown.
Keith, let's watch it again. Watch him go airborne. Charles White, watch him jump right here. He just goes airborne right over the entire line of scrimmage and falls 3 yards in the secondary. Wow.
Frank Jordan to kick out of Marty King's hole for the extra point. It's good. With 7 minutes and 38 seconds to play in the third quarter. The scoreboard shows USC 24, Notre Dame 6.
I have a confession to make. Last year, the abbot asked me to do an impossible job. Copy 500 sets of this manuscript. I did it, but I used the Xerox 9200. Now, to save paper, he wants it copied on both sides, and he wants it fast. This is going to take another miracle.
Where do you want it, Brother Dominic?
Right here.
The Xerox 9400 duplicator with automatic two-sided copying. Will miracles never cease?
Tiempo is the all-season tire from Goodyear. A steel-belted radio that stays on your car all year. Tiempo is a rain tire that grips the wet roads. It's the sun tire from Goodyear that rides quietly. And Tiempo is the snow tire that you keep on your car all year. Goodyear's Tiempo, the one tire you can drive with confidence all year.
This fall, there's a new dimension to NCAA football. 38 NCAA colleges have formed the new Division 1AA. Climaxing the initial Division 1AA season will be the first National Collegiate Division 1AA football championship on December 16th.
The city of Los Angeles. And right now, not all that many folks running around the streets. Those are not here, probably sitting at home watching, or somewhere, some furniture store, wherever they happen to be. As Jordan kicks it high, Jim Stone gets a chance. And Jim comes out across the 20 to the 22, 23-yard line. With 7:34 to go in the third quarter now, Charles White, 110 yards on 22 carries and a touchdown. He gained 32 yards on that particular drive.
Keith, look at this. 9 turnovers by Texas. Baylor defeated Texas, and this puts Houston in the Cotton Bowl regardless of what they do next week. They can lose and still go to the Cotton Bowl.
You could have teams well, Mr. Yeomans is a very resourceful fellow. Holohan is in motion. And the play goes into the right side of the line. There just isn't very much room there. The play starting just short of the 23. Vegas Ferguson is back in the lineup now. In the first offensive possession, Notre Dame head coach Dan Devine had Jerome Heavens in there at the tailback position. That time he went back to the Vegas Ferguson.
Look at how young Southern Cal is. 8 seniors, 7 juniors, 6 sophomores, and 1 freshman. They're going to be good for a few years to come.
Second down. Let's call it 8 yards to go for Notre Dame at the 24. May have had just a tad too much time on that play. It looked like Montana checked off at the line of scrimmage again. One of the things that everybody's been talking about around this part of the country is the fact that they had 5 of the most highly touted freshman quarterbacks in America enrolled in school at Southern California. None of them played.
That is hard to do in recruiting. I know once you sign 1 or 2 quarterbacks, the rest of them have a tendency to go, the rest of the good ones have a tendency to go somewhere else.
Yes, but these quarterbacks probably accepting the probability that some of them, 1 or 2 of them might get the wide receiver call, another 1 or 2 might get a defensive back call. Ball is backed up now inside the 20 to the 19 on the time call as Montana rolls out on second down and 13. Throws in the pass, deflected, almost picked off by Ronnie Lott. It was intended for Holohan, and Pete just really never had much of a chance to get to the ball at all.
It's a play-action pass, Keith, and the one thing that's happening right now, Southern Cal are double-teaming every receiver. It's very hard. Right there you see in front was the cornerback, Crawford, and then Lott nearly intercepted it, but the double coverage is hard to throw into. Very difficult.
Montana now 5 out of 21 for 89 yards, and it's third down 13 from the 19. Still getting better protection this time. Chris Haynes going inside, trying to come back for the ball, almost had his feet go out from under him. And Montana may have thrown it just a little bit before he intended to because a big fella named Ty Sperling was hunting him.
That's what happens. You throw the ball a little bit early, you get rushed a couple of times, you don't take quite as much as you need, but he still completed the pass because Haynes reached down and made an outstanding catch.
Pete Buchanan is out now. Jerome Heavens is in at the fullback position. They come out of a split-back formation this time. And it's a first down for the Fighting Irish out at the 36-yard line. But they're just apparently are not going to get very much yardage on the ground against that Trojan front. As they send Heavens in there again, Jerome picked up about 3 up to the 39. Time running along now at 6:10 to play.
Keith, if you look at the rushing averages of Ferguson, 10 rushing attempts, 31 yards. And the Notre Dame coaches said he has not been very effective on grass fields this year.
Second down 7 from the 39. Montana to throw it. Throws it short. And it works for a big play. Dean Mastak, that big freshman. And he carries it all the way down to the Southern California 59-yard line.
There's the tight end pattern that we were talking about that has been one of the key factors in Notre Dame's success offensively. It's the bootleg fake. The fullback out in the flat is the first choice. He sees the quarterback, Montana, sees him covered, and Mastek open. He hits him right in the middle. And watch Mastek. He could catch his feet. No, he finally did get knocked down.
At the 29, first down. Montana puts it up. Haynes has it. He's wrestled down. First man is Herb Ward at the 21-yard line. Gets help from Dennis Smith. And there's a gain of about 8 yards on that pass play.
It's a good call on Montana's part. It's 101 coverage. In the past, he's been going to play action passes on first down. This time, it's just a drop back.
That's our program for next Saturday. Yellow Jackets and the Bulldogs, the Middies and the Cadets, right here on ABC.
Stay back, please.
Second down, short 2 from the 21 of Southern Cal. Number 45, Buchanan has it. And the freshman bangs his way on down to about the 13 and another Notre Dame first down. No, that's Palace, 45, who's a senior out of Yakima, Washington. Pete Palace didn't get a whole lot of playing time in his career at Notre Dame, but last week he showed up in the stats rather decisively and just turned in a good solid run right there. So it's first down, Notre Dame at the 13-yard line. Holohan in motion. Get it inside the Palace again. He's a 204-pounder. He runs into Rich Demler, who's a 255-pounder. Rich Demler is the fellow who asked one time about this USC Notre Dame rivalry, and he answered very succinctly. Notre Dame is the reason I came to USC.
He wanted to play against him. Well, he's having a good year. He's reduced his weight down from 270 to 249 and playing much better.
Came all the way from Bayonne, New Jersey. Second down. And about 9 from the 12. Joe Montana rolling out. Oh, and it's almost picked off by number 49, Smith. As he threw that ball into the crowd, and looking for Mastak is tied in, and Dean had gotten behind Smith. Dennis almost had one. That stops the clock at 3:45 to go in the third quarter.
Keith, look at the passing comparison of the two quarterbacks. McDonald 12 out of 21, Montana 8 out of 25, but 2 touchdowns by McDonald. Third down 9 from the 12.
Joe looks for Haynes, throws, gets tripped, just short of the goal line. That'll be first and goal to go, Notre Dame. Boy, that was a bang-bang play.
Was it ever? Perfect timing. Montana has to throw the ball just as Haynes stops. Watch it right here. He's going to push deep. 23, Ward backs up the ball. He turns, the ball's got feet. Right on the target. There it is. Perfect.
First down and goal to go. Notre Dame at the Southern California 1-yard line. Montana tries to sneak it in, does not get there. Maybe a half a yard short. Dan Devine waiting to find out how much, and it's about that much. Palace has come out at fullback. Buchanan has gone in. Evans and Buchanan have a setback. Montana sneaks again. Fumble! And Southern California's Herb Ward has the ball.
I was going to say that. He's supposed to be the safest play, but when the footing is a little bit bad and the quarterback steps back to try to run the quarterback sneak, he lost his footing and gained nothing and fumbled the ball.
3:01 to go, third quarter. The Irish fritter away a great scoring opportunity.
When you say Budweiser, when you say Bud, you said a lot of things nobody else can say. When you say Bud, you say you care enough to only want the king of beers. When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Det måste inte vara ord för att mösta ميلية وفوت لتتنستيف.
ليس من الضروري أن تكون سياراتكم من صنع فورد لكي تستفيد قدر الإمكان من شرار شمعات أوتولايت.
Autolite makes plugs for Fords, but they also make plugs for almost every car made, American or import.
Doesn't have to be a Ford. Get the most out of like spark plugs.
Next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, Georgia battles Georgia Tech. Then at 4, the Army-Navy game, a classic clash. All next Saturday on ABC.
Here's the fumble that cost Notre Dame a great opportunity to score. Montana taking the snap from center. Ball comes loose.
He never put it away. He was trying to wrap it up. He failed to do so.
And the Trojans attack out of the end zone. From the 1-yard line, Charles White runs it out to about the 4, where it'll be second down. There's the man who came up with the ball, Herb Ward.
All right, okay.
He had a couple of interceptions early in the year in the Alabama telecast that we did involving Southern Cal.
He's had 5 for the year and having a very outstanding season.
Keane and White set behind McDonald. Going to throw it out of the end zone, and does, to Kevin Williams. And there's the comment as a perfect example of what Frank Ross meant a while ago when he said he is a football player with trackman speed. Because if you're not a football player, you don't have that upper torso strength to gain that yard.
Watch it again. Daring play, daring call, 101 coverage. Williams is open. Momentarily, he catches the ball. Watch his strength right here as he goes under. Keeps his footing just enough to make the first down.
He's caught 3, 60 yards and a touchdown. And it's first down Southern Cal at the 12. Then Kane, the fullback. He's up to the 16. Gain of 4. And with a score 24-6 here in Los Angeles, you see that Texas Tech beat Houston today, 22-21. With Texas losing to Baylor, however, the Cougars are on their way to the Cotton Bowl regardless. Clemson warming up for a match in the Gator Bowl with Ohio State, big winner today. See the Gator Bowl game right here on ABC, December 29. Second down and 6. It's White. And White's out of bounds. Penalty flag thrown. Let's wait for the call. Johnny Majors getting a win today. Tennessee beating Kentucky. Van Persie. And Steve Sloan closed out with a pretty good-sized win.
That was an upset.
Yeah, say so. Mississippi State jumped on LSU. And the Tar Heels of North Carolina closing the season with a win over the Blue Devils of Duke. North Carolina State headed for the Tangerine Bowl. Finished with a win. Michigan State are rolling along.
Well, Darrell Rogers has done an outstanding coaching job at Michigan State in his 3rd year. Tied for the championship with Michigan.
Arkansas won today.
Fiesta Bowl.
USC backed up now. Back to the 11-yard line after that penalty. Second down, 11 for the Trojans. Charles White has it. Up the sideline. Up at the 33-yard line, and Pat Howell was out in front again.
Was he ever? How would you like to be escorted down the field? Watch it again. Number 66, Pat Howell, 6'6", 250 pounds, escorting Charles White. on an open field. Wow. Ran right into Gibbons, number 27. Finally, Weston slows him down just a little bit.
Randy Harrison finally locked him down. We've got a player shaken up on the field.
There's two Notre Dame players hurt, Keith.
Mike Calhoun is one of them. And there's another one over on the sidelines that we can't see right there.
On that last play, they caught Notre Dame in a blitz, charging to the inside. They sealed off everybody, and that was the reason Howell came outside clear.
You can see that Mike Calhoun, who was shaken up in the first half, came back to play strong, but he is really out of it right now. And Charles White, on that particular carry, moved at 22 yards for a total of 24 carries and 135 yards in the ball game. The lights have been turned on. That's Jay Case down on the sideline, defensive end for Notre Dame. With 1 minute and 31 seconds to play in the third quarter, and Southern California leading in the ball game by a score of 24-6.
Keith, we're talking about things outstanding. I'd like to let our viewers know that Keith Jackson has been awarded the Golden Mike Trophy for the Outstanding Broadcaster of the Year by the New York Touchdown Club. Congratulations.
Thank you, Frank.
I was there for the ceremony, enjoyed it very much.
Well, most pleasant afternoon for me, I can assure you. That's the original Touchdown Club in America, too. So it's a group of guys that know what they're doing, I hope. Case is coming off and walking very gingerly, but I'm a great believer in the simple philosophy, Frank, that nobody ever turned it on to hear what I was going to do. They turned it on to see these young men play football, and you've seen a pretty good ball game this afternoon.
But the way you describe it, Keith, we all enjoy it.
Mike Calhoun is hurting. That looks like a shoulder. Boy, a lot of folks getting banged up. A lot of big men out on the field, and when you get into a collision, it's something's got to give. So here are the people now that apparently have been really damaged in this ball game this afternoon. That would be Jay Case, Mike Calhoun. I don't think we're going to see Mike again. Bob Golick has not returned in the second half, and Joe Restick has played some, but Joe suffered an ankle sprain himself in the first half. Clock is going now on first down as Southern California goes to the attack from the 32-yard line. McDonald gives it to Dwight Ford, and Ford runs it up to the 36. Jim Browner is over there, number 33, along with Jeff Weston. And down under the bottom of the stack is number 72 for the Fighting Irish, Hardy Rayam. Texas A&M score there, Washington, 24-0 over Washington State. Oregon State, 21-3. The coach at Oregon State's Craig Fertig, who figured so mightily in that 1964 game here. Quarterback the Trojans. Second down and 7. Rakshani in motion. And it's Kane, the fullback. Len Kane can gain about as many yards as anybody I've ever seen just falling down.
Keith, he's got the quickness, the explosiveness, those pumping feet and legs that keep the drive going. He's determined. Good fullback, probably the best in the high formation of Southern Cal ever.
It'll be third down. They need 2.5 yards for the first down, just outside the 40. Time just about gone in the third quarter. Charles White. He's got the first down. Vic Rakshani threw a big block to turn Charles around the corner. We've gone through 45 minutes of football, and it's 24-6 Southern Cal.
Can I help you?
Baboon Burger.
Nice car. What is it?
Chevy Chevette, best-selling small car in America.
What do you have on it?
AM radio, console, reclining bucket seats, white striped tires. It's all standard on the four-door Chevy Chevette. Even a hatchback.
Love it, but I don't need the hatchback.
How come?
I've already got a trunk.
Chevy Chevette. A lot of car for the money.
I'm the Skill Sandcat, a different breed of compact sander, a tiger for work, a pussycat to handle. I eat old oak for breakfast. With a quick belt change, I rush through rust.
I go where you need me because I'm light and manageable. I'm the Sand Cat, the tool it took skill to build.
$49.99 at participating dealers.
If you do it yourself and do it with pride, then do it with skill.
Sunday, a long-lost war hero fights Adama for control of Battlestar Galactica.
Excuse me, isn't that a Cadbury? I've never tried one. You mind if I have a teensy piece? Well, I'll just take a little bit. It was for my wife and me. Oh, she'll love it. You know, you can get carried away with this stuff. Yes, I've noticed that. Oh, come on, it's a big bar. It's getting small.
One taste of a Cadbury and people get carried away because only a big, thick Cadbury chocolate bar is so rich, so creamy, so Cadbury.
Isn't that a Cadbury? I've never tried one.
Bullet, tonight at 11:45.
Come into the Los Angeles Coliseum. Jay Case, a hip pointer, he's gone for the day. Mike Calhoun, it was not a shoulder, it was an elbow, hyperextension apparently. He's gone for the day. It's first down Southern California at the 47-yard line. Their own 47. They lead 24-6. McDonald looks to throw. Throws it. Sideline. Got his man. Rockshani. And he's dropped at the Notre Dame 33-yard line. So it's another first down for the Trojans. You see those big guards. Almost every time where you've got a runner that breaks upfield or a receiver that makes the catch, you'll see either Buddy or Howell down there policing.
That is comforting for a quarterback to have those two in the middle.
Ball is at the Fighting Irish 33. Charles White dancing on the sidelines. He stepped out at the 28-yard line. Now, we got into this bowl business last week and trying to figure out all the pieces. So let's go back to this Cotton Bowl situation and take one more shot at it.
Keith, I made a mistake. I said that I didn't realize that Texas Tech would have lost only 2 ball games in the conference if they beat Arkansas next week. And if Houston loses, it's a 4-way tie. Texas Tech has never played in the Cotton Bowl. The bid would be automatically there.
But Rice would have to beat Houston, and Texas Tech's got to beat Arkansas.
That's correct.
And that's a pretty tough order on both counts. Second down for Southern California, and about 5 yards to go. And Charles White has got 5 and then some. He's inside the Notre Dame 10-yard line, and it was Pat Howell's coattails, the big old broad shoulders he was riding.
Watch this run. Watch his leg action. The reason he breaks the initial hit, or any defender right there, guess that's Browner, who right here is Browner, number 33. He just outruns him to the boundary, turns down the field. Tearaway jersey, nope. Pulled him down.
It's first down, goal to go. Southern California. The football is just short of the Notre Dame 7-yard line. Ford is in at tailback. Ford's got it. Ford's for the 4-yard line. Bobby Leopold in at linebacker, a junior out of Port Arthur, Texas, made the stop for Notre Dame. And the third quarter numbers.
USC still dominating. 23 first downs to 11. Total offense, 384 to 184. Only 1 turnover for Southern Cal, 2 for Notre Dame. All the way, Southern Cal.
The number that jumps out at you, 27 yards rushing Notre Dame.
That is a surprise.
Second down, goal to go from the 4. White back in, he's got it. And they get him just about the line of scrimmage. Heimkreiter came across to make the play.
I don't know how he found the ball carrier as he sifted his way through about 4 blockers, but he did and made an excellent play.
Well, they advance him inside the 4, close to the 3, where it's third down, goal to go. throws out as a flanker. Sweeney to the left side flanker. McDonald stands up, throws to Sweeney, and it is broken up by Dave Waymer, number 34. Pass had been just a little higher, might have worked.
A little bit shorter, and it'd been a touchdown for Notre Dame. Let's see if you wouldn't agree. Sweeney breaking out in the flat, man-on-man coverage. Waymer is going to cut in front of the receiver. He deflected the ball. He might have had clear sailing down the field.
Jordan's on with his kicking tee. 13:03 to go in the game. 20-yard attempt. Ball will be marked just beyond the 10. They might call it a 21. Missed it. He missed it. Hooked it left. So he's missed a chip shot field goal and an extra point today, and his coach has his hands on his hip.
Come on, Howie. Get in. Don't you want to go fishing?
These are times of your life to remember.
You could be the captain. Okay?
In pictures. To help make those pictures look their best, ask for Kodak paper behind them. And remember, using Kodak film doesn't mean you automatically get Kodak paper. So look for these words. Look for this sign when you get your pictures developed, and get them on Kodak paper for a good look.
See? A good captain always thanks his crew.
Zenith announces a breakthrough. System 3. System 3. The best Zenith ever. The best ever. A brand new picture tube for the sharpest Zenith picture ever. Sharpest picture. And an all-new modular chassis. All new. Designed to be the best performing, the most reliable color TV in Zenith history. The most reliable. Zenith. System 3. System 3. It's the best Zenith ever.
ABC's NFL Monday Night Football this Monday from Candlestick Park in San Francisco. The Steelers coming west. Last time the Steelers came west, they didn't do too well here in this very football stadium we're working today. 49ers gave the Rams all they wanted next week. Join us Monday night. It'll be fun to watch. Here's Montana back to throw. He has Massac wide open. And the big freshman has the first down for the Fighting Irish out at the 43-yard line. Got that tight end loose again.
Crossing pattern to tight end requires a little bit longer pass protection. Watch 86, Mastek breaking across wide open because the linebackers are figuring in the running defense and sacrificing pass coverage.
Time he grows up, he's going to be a pretty good football player. You know that?
He's got good feet. Got good speed.
Sure has. First down Irish, 43. Montana to put it up. Going deep. Got a man, Hayes. Here she's got it. Touchdown.
How about that?
57 yards on the pass play from Montana to Hayes.
A 57-yard strike. As Montana hooks up with Chris Haynes, and Haynes just outran Dennis Smith.
Let's see that sensational play again. Watch Haynes go inside. Ward checked him off to Smith, but Smith took the wrong angle. Came up, and Dennis Smith tried to go back, but he is outrun by Chris Haynes. What a outstanding pass by Montana. Touchdown.
They'll go for two. Montana to throw it. Misses. And so with 12 minutes and 26 seconds to play in a ball game, it is now USC 24, the Fighting Irish 12.
Score remains USC.
Hey, come here. I want to show you something. No, it's not my early vaudeville friends, but the guys who worked on Texaco's first oil well over 76 years ago. Today, we need more American oil than ever before, and Texaco is looking for oil in more than 25 states, from Alaska to the Gulf of Mexico. And now Texaco is even exploring in the Atlantic, 100 miles off the coast of New Jersey. At Texaco, we're using our energy to bring you more energy. We're working to keep your trust.
99 bottles of beer in the law. 99 bottles of beer.
Hey, Spot! How about a beer?
Beer? I want something special.
Bull!
Bull?
Yes, sir, the Slit Smoked Liquor Bull.
Hey, Spike, look at that bottle.
It's a special premium brew that's in a class by itself.
Wow, what taste! 99 bottles of Bull on the wall.
If you want to change change of pace with a big bold taste. Don't say beer, say bold. Ho! The Schlitz malt liquor bold.
Friday night, a special telecast. Number 9, Texas tackles Texas A&M. A fiery Southwest Conference clash. Friday night.
Goodyear Blimp Columbia with Corky Ballantyne, our cameraman Mayo Partee. Giving you that picture as the shadows reach now pretty much all the way across the playing surface of this big old building.
We'll kick off.
CG will kick off for Notre Dame. And he bangs it all the way to the goal line where Raymond Butler has it. Oh, look out. There is nothing slow about that fellow either. So it's 12:18 to play now. It is up to the Notre Dame defense to try to keep their fortune, their hopes alive in this ball game. Here's that touchdown play from Montana to Haynes for 57 yards.
Montana had rolled to the right, throwing all the way back. Haynes gets in behind Smith. It was actually double coverage. Smith made a glaring mistake in his pass coverage. Result, touchdown, Notre Dame.
Longest pass play of the year for the Irish. First down, Southern Cal at the 28-yard line. Some pretty tough running. Right in heavy, heavy traffic by Charles White as he comes out to the 35-yard line. And Charles now at 174 yards. He has already had the biggest year of his career. And he's got a full year to go, plus a 12th game against Hawaii.
He's going to add to the stats there.
Fullback. Gain up to about the 40. That'll be a first down for USC. As Roy Foster has gone in to play at left tackle, Otis Page has been playing there, replacing Anthony Munoz when Anthony got his leg hurt. Otis Page playing as much on guts as he is on legs because he's had a lot of trouble with his legs. But Foster is a 250-pound freshman out of Overland Park, Kansas. Jack Campbell is in at the other tackle, and he's another freshman, a 250-pounder. All tackles are 250 pounds. They swing the ball out to Charles White. And White getting a big block from Pat Howell. Takes it up to midfield. I don't know when I have seen an offensive guard have a better game than Pat Howell has had today.
The coaches, Keith, say that he is definitely an All-American. He's not only can pull, but he's an excellent pass blocker, which is a key role for him in this Southern Cal offense that is mixing up the pass and run as beautiful as any team I've seen in years.
Ball just short of midfield. They need a half a yard for a first down on second down. You've got Butler and Roxani double wide right. They give it to the fullback Kane, and he punches through for the first down at the Notre Dame 49. Joe Gremke made the tackle for the Irish. Jay Case, hip corner, he's out. Golick, bad knee, he's out. Calhoun, damaged arm, he's gone. Joe Resnick, free safety, he's hurt. But he's playing. He's hurt, but he's playing because he had an ankle sprain. So the front liners are thinned out by injuries, or at least slowed down. Right Ford. And Ford gets it inside the Notre Dame 45 to the 44 before Jim Browner throws him back upfield.
Keith, would you believe on the last three possessions, Southern Cal has moved from their 17-yard line, 83 yards for a touchdown, from their own 1 to the 14 where they missed the field goal, and this drive started on the 28. That's ball possession and the problem that Notre Dame has had all year long.
There is a lack of speed on the Notre Dame side of the field. There's no question about it. Second down, 5. And Charles White diving for the first down. He's just a little short as he hits the 40 of Notre Dame. So it'll be third in the yard.
Keith, that's his 30th rushing attempt in this ball game. 179 yards.
He's closing in on 4,000.
With a year to go.
You think all the Heisman votes are in, Frank?
No, sir, I don't. I think it's still out. I think it's going to be close.
Third down in the yard. White again. Boy, he's just tearing them up. He did that last week, too. When they had to have yardage and when they had to move it, they gave it to White. White looked for 66 or 71. And in this particular play, he was looking for 66. Big Pat Howell is right there.
Watch Howell, number 66, taking on Heimsprider, the linebacker, number 58. Knocked him right on the ground, right there.
Charles White was 3,926 yards in his career and still a game to go against Hawaii. On first down, from the 32 to the 30.
Keith, you know who the tight end was on that play? Kevin Williams, number 8. Had shifted over. They ran right over him. 5'8", 155 pounds.
Is he all right?
I don't know. I don't think they intended to leave him there. But he was there, and he gave effort.
He'll stretch it. Second down and 8 yards to go from the Notre Dame 30. 24-12 the score, USC. Trojans have dominated the game. Charles White again. He was hit by number 51, Pete Johnson, but Johnson couldn't take him down, and he got about 4 yards after Pete hit him. And there's a penalty flag. Flipping, Southern California. John Robinson being heard.
Boy, he's saying something, and he means it. I know exactly how he feels. I think
he got him on his side of the field, so he's talking while they're over there.
I believe he's talking to the officials.
Flipping call. Backs the Trojans all the way to the 42-yard line. They've got to go to the 22 for the first down. So it'll be second down and 20.
Long yardage. The defense goes into a preventive style of defense, double coverage receivers, forcing Southern Cal to make a different offensive call.
SC, 6 penalties, 72 yards. Well, they got Williams at tight end again. McDonald gives it to White. And he falls down and rolls to the sidelines at about the Notre Dame 38-yard line. Number 74, Jeff Weston, was the man that knocked the feet from under him. And this coming Friday night, Texas and Texas A&M at 9 Eastern time, 8:10, the kickoff time in Austin. The Longhorns of the Aggies. After it, 2 of the best kickers in recent college football history. Showcased to that game, Tony Franklin of A&M, Russell Ertzleben of Texas.
Football coaches, writers team of football writers of America selected both of them All-American. One is the punter, and Franklin is the kicker.
Time is called. 7 minutes, 11 seconds to play in a ball game. It's 24-12 Southern Cal, and we'll be right back.
Many people think of corporations as ivory towers, closed, unhearing. But in a world of ivory towers, 3M hears you. Your needs, heard by 3M, keep creating ingenious products for practical use. When people needed a product that would seal new wrapping materials, 3M heard and created Scotch brand tapes, ingeniously practical. When 3M heard that most telephone copying machines required 4 to 6 minutes to transmit a page, 3M developed the Express 9600 and speeded transmission up to 12 times. When 3M heard that do-it-yourselfers wasted time changing sandpaper, 3M invented Press and Sand, a simple, sticky-backed sandpaper that presses on and pulls off in a flash. Small, big, simple, complex, ingenious products for practical use, made possible because 3M listens. 3M hears you.
High school football is often the center of school spirit and even the focus of community interest. The National Federation of State High School Associations realizes this and thanks the thousands of coaches, officials, and administrators who make the programs possible. School activities are the other half of education.
Excuse me. I got caught in the middle of a laugh with my partner here, Frank Broyles, is fussing and fooling with this cotton bowl situation. We're not sure we've got it figured out
I made
yet.
another mistake, Chief. Can't be a four-way tie.
All right, it's third down, Southern California, at 16 yards to go. Paul McDonald puts it in the air, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Kevin Williams. Underthrow. Little Kevin had done his job. He was free and gone, but McDonald threw it a little bit short. Have a look at it.
Here's Williams just going down and out for the flag, which is his favorite route. Ball's a little bit underthrown. He did have his hands on it, but couldn't bring it in.
Marty King is in to punt on fourth down. Just floats it up there, trying to kill it inside the 10. They've got it. But they're going to put it at the 2.
That's the 2-yard line.
That was the first Southern California punt since the first quarter.
They have moved up and down the field, long drives, keeping the ball away from the Notre Dame offense. When they didn't score, they gave it up deep in Notre Dame territory.
Eric Scoggins is a fellow who comes downfield now and jumps on the ball.
Down the ball at the 2-yard line.
Scoggins, a fellow who played at linebacker and played an outstanding ball game against Alabama earlier in the season, but his playing time has not been all that plentiful. It's first down for Notre Dame at the 2-yard line as Joe Montana stands up and throws out of the end zone and completes the pass to Chris Haynes. Chris rolls out short of the first down. 6 minutes and 53 seconds to play in the ball game. And there are the set of numbers that just fairly leap out at you. Notre Dame has gained only 28 yards on the ground in this ball game. It'll be second down and about 3 yards to go for the first down. The football is sitting at the 9. Holohan is wide right, Haynes left. Montana gives it on the draw, and it works for the first down out to about the 13-yard line as Jerome Evans carried the ball and Dennis Edwards makes the tackle for Southern California.
Keith, would you be interested in the Cotton Bowl? I've got it written down.
Not really.
Okay, I'm going to give it to you anyway. A three-way tie between Houston, Texas, and Arkansas. Houston would go to the Cotton Bowl. Another three-way tie would be Houston, Texas, and Tech. Tech would go because they're the last to have gone. There is a possibility of a two-way tie. Houston and Tech. Tech would go because they beat Houston, and who can say that?
Montana to throw it. Looking for Haynes, can't find it. Goes to the short man, Vegas Ferguson, and he's planted by Herb Ward. Vegas taking his time getting up, and I don't blame him. Crowd today, 84,256. And let's go back to the very beginning of today's telecast when I suggested this rivalry was started fundamentally because of the leadership at the respective universities said they needed more money to grow. Well, 84,256 plus national television, that's a pretty fair-sized payday.
And Notre Dame being independent, they get to keep their share of the television, whereas Southern Cal puts it into the Pac-10.
Second down and 10, Montana back to throw. His 31st pass of the ball game is caught by Chris Haynes. And Haynes is wrestled down by Dennis Smith. But Chris has the first down for the Irish out at the 33. Montana now has hit 7 of his last 9 passes. He gained 20. He's got 159 yards. So he's hanging in there and keeping the Irish in the ball game, though time has become the definite ally of Southern Cal.
Keith, on that last pass that we just saw the replay, Haynes was double covered by First Ward, released to Smith, but the pass is in front of Smith right here. Haynes goes up in the air and pulls it down.
Montana back to the air again on first down. He throws for the sideline, and it's complete. And it's Haynes again. So Montana and Haynes now are cranking up and connecting and putting away a lot of real estate.
I think it's worth mentioning that Notre Dame missed the scoring opportunity on the 1-foot line early at their tail end of the third quarter. Right now, they're moving with 5 minutes to go.
Haynes comes off the field, shaking some on that last tackle. Montana will throw it again. He looks for Holohan. He throws. The pass is grabbed by Mastek. Did he hang on to it? They're going to give him the reception at the Southern California 32-yard line. So Mastek cut right in front of Holohan to make the grab.
Here's Mastek, number 86, a tight end. Watch him find an open spot. Move back inside and pitch the ball. Good awareness by Mastek, the freshman tight end. Going to be an outstanding football player before he leaves Fighting Irish.
5:10 to go in a ball game. 31-yard line of Southern Cal, first down Irish. Montana throwing again. Just gets it away. Pass it incomplete. Ronnie Lott tipped it. And let me say this, that if Montana gets up sound, he is a tough dude, and he's up walking around all right, because Ty Sperling just leveled it.
Keith, I tell you, coaches can fully appreciate Montana's effort today. Under tough circumstances, Southern Cal knowing they've got the pass, but he's kept his poise, his cool, and done a great job.
In the second half, Montana is 12 out of 17 for 238 yards. He's going to put it up again. He throws it incomplete, intended for Holohan. It went right in between two SC defenders. It'll be third down and 10 for the Irish at the Southern Cal 31. Montana and Ferguson run together, and Montana is sacked back at the 19. Dennis Johnson, linebacker, was blitzing, and he jammed the quarterback back into Vegas Ferguson.
Most coaches will go to some type of blitz in this particular situation. First down, inside the 25, 20-yard line, try to give them a bad play, and they did.
Time called at 4:29 to play in the game. 24-12, Southern California leads it. Notre Dame talking.
You know me as Mr. Goodwrench, the professional mechanic who cares about your GM car. But your participating GM dealer also has a Mr. Goodwrench who cares at the service write-up desk and in the parts department. We're all over the service department, just to be sure your GM car gets Mr. Goodwrench professional care.
You never had it so good.
Keep that great GM feeling
With Mr. Goodwrench.
That's us.
and genuine GM parts.
From the wheat fields out in Kansas to the cities by the bay,
Along the Mississippi, all across the USA. You're looking at the one car more people buy today. This is it, America, the Chevrolet.
The new Chevrolet, a new generation car bought and embraced by more than 1 million people in its first 2 years. Caprice and Impala for 1979.
This is it, America, the Chevrolet.
Next Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, Georgia battles Georgia Tech. Then at 4, the Army-Navy game, a classic clash. All next Saturday on ABC.
For the Fighting Irish, the football is sitting just inside the USC 19-yard line. It's second down. They've got to go to the 3 for the first down. Need 16 for the first down. Montana going to run it up the middle. He's got his first down. The linesman marks him out right on the 3-yard line, and that will be a Notre Dame first and goal to go.
Keith, watched him scramble. The Notre Dame coaches say he's done the best job this year of getting away from the rush. In fact, the Southern Cal coaches said this is what worried him the most. Could they put any pressure on? Watch his speed right here. He outruns the secondary right here. Herb Ward is 4.4 speed. He couldn't make the play.
I'm sure that's first down because that linesman put his foot right on the 3. If they, in fact, put the ball down where the linesman had put his foot.
Montana is right there.
First and goal.
Keith, if Notre Dame had not fumbled, this could be the go-ahead touchdown.
Well, that's true. Then, on the other hand, USC might not have been playing prevent. They might not have had that big, long pass play either.
Yeah, they would be up more running defenses, possibly.
At the 3-yard line, first and goal to go for the Irish. It's the fullback, Buchanan, to the 1. Maybe inside the 1. He's a 220-pound freshman, so he has the kind of size that you normally expect to find at fullback for Notre Dame. Here comes Heavens in the ball game now. And Buchanan comes out. So it's Heavens and Ferguson, the setback. Second down, goal to go. Ball's a half a yard away. Montana. Nope. At least not yet. No, he didn't get there.
Give Southern Cal defense some credit. That's 3 quarterback sneaks from the 6-inch line, and they hadn't put it in yet with that play.
Well, you know who's at the bottom of that stack. You got Big Myron Lapka, Rich Dimmler, and Ty Sperling. And they just get down as low as they can and root away, and they are hard to move. 13th play in this possession by Notre Dame. They started back on their own 2. It's been Montana-Haynes passing combination that's moved them here. 3rd and goal to go. It's touchdown, Buchanan. And with 3:01 to play in the ball game, you've got a ball game. When Notre Dame scored its touchdown a few minutes ago, they went for 2. They missed. Now it's 24-18. And Eunice is in to kick. If he's successful, the margin for SC will be only 5 points.
They'll have to use an onside kick, don't you think, Keith?
I would guess so. Vince Dooley decided to not try to gamble last week and go for 2, hoping to get the ball back. He never saw it again. And there's the kick. It is good. You've got 3:01 to play, and 3 minutes is not a very long time against Southern California, which is basically a possession team. So you almost surely will see an onside kick, I would think.
And then if they don't get the ball, they'll go into every blitz they can to try to force a fumble by Southern Cal.
Of course, that end opens up Messrs. Williams, Sweeney, Rakshani.
And McDonald will put it in the air if he has to. I believe that.
Last week against UCLA, the Trojans got the ball and ran out 5 minutes and 10 seconds on UCLA.
With Charles White carrying the ball, I would guess.
That's right.
I know against Stanford, Keith, they had 4 minutes to play, and Southern Cal kept the ball. White carried it 7 out of 9 times. Stanford did not get possession yet.
24-19 ball game. SC had dominated it, but here in the second half, Joe Montana has cranked up the Irish. Oregon State beating Oregon, Texas Tech beating Houston today. As you look at scores from around the country, big ball games, old traditional games. A lot of receivers, a lot of backs, defensive backs all up on the front for Southern California. They don't have anybody deep, really. White and Butler are pretty well up themselves as they prepare to accept the kickoff from Notre Dame. Irish group in the middle of the field as Sichi comes in to kick, and you've got to read onside kick right here.
The old coaching staff gets pretty tight on this situation. I've been there. Please get the ball.
Oh, he kicked it away. Butler's in the end zone. He'll put it down. Well, after all that preamble, folks, he kicked it away. 3:01 to play in a ball game, and first down at the 20 of Southern Cal. Big upset right there. 9 turnovers for Texas. Baylor beat them 38-14. Clemson closed with a big solid win over South Carolina. Colgate closing the season with an upset victory over Rutgers. Rutgers is another bold team that has been beaten. Massachusetts winning today. Holy Cross edging Connecticut. Now, question is, can the Irish defense force Southern California to give up the ball? 24-19 ball game. McDonald sets up and gives it to Charles White. White is down at the 20. And a solid hit by Steve Heimkreiter, number 58. Ole Miss ending the season with a victory. That's also got to be considered upset. Carolina beating Duke. NC State winning. Purdue headed for a bowl, first one in a long time. Arkansas going to Tempe to the Fiesta Bowl. Second down 9, Southern Cal headed for the Rose Bowl. Notre Dame going to the Cotton Bowl. White again, and Charles is up to the 25. Time 2:15 to play in the game. Timeouts, Notre Dame 3, Southern Cal 2.
McDonald would like to put it in the air, but I think he'll be a little bit hesitant.
2 minutes and 2 seconds to play in the game. Charles White now, 201 yards today. Third and 5. McDonald is going to throw it. He throws it and misses. James Hunter threw the ball behind Hunter. James is out there open. But Notre Dame, with 1 minute and 42 seconds, holds off the Trojans and will get the football one more time.
That's going to be a tight minute and 30 seconds or so left in this ball game with Joe Montana and Chris Haynes, the threat that they are with that football.
9 Irishmen up front. Now they peel back. Marty King's kick, not that good. Out of bounds at the Southern California. No, at the Notre Dame 43. Hit right on the hash mark. 32-yard punt. Well, if you're a Trojan faithful, get a hold of something firm. If you're a Notre Dame faithful, grab your favorite prayer book.
Anything can happen.
First down Irish at their own 43. Montana to throw. Gets away from Lefty. Gets away from a pursuing linebacker and runs out of bounds at the 48-yard line. Larry McGrew was chasing him all the way across the field. A concerned Charles White at the USC bench. Charlie's earned his supper. Chris Haynes shaken up, hobbling off the field. That takes away an immediate threat by Notre Dame as Haynes hobbles to the sideline. And Dave Condini goes in.
On the last play, Keith, Southern Cal defended, rushed 4 people, defended with 7.
1:28 to play in the game. Second down, 5. Montana looks at Condini, throws short to Ferguson. Vegas tumbles out of bounds at about the Southern Cal 47. He may have a first down. I can't tell exactly where the ball is. You've got the same view I do there, and you can see all those players standing on the sideline.
It does stop the clock. Notre Dame could get in the huddle and call the next play while they're measuring.
Paul Kamansky brings the change in. Montana strolls to the sidelines to talk to the Irish coaching staff. You're right, they should be in their huddle and ready to call the play. But they're not.
They need to be at the line of scrimmage the minute the referee signals play ball.
1:22 to play in the game. 24 SC, 19 Notre Dame. They're just short. Here is third down and about 6 inches.
Tough call. They may have to use a running play to make the first down and have 4 more shots at it. They got 2 timeouts.
Montana sneaks it, gets his first down as he punches to the Trojan 45, and now they've got to call time.
Keith, they're going to line up and use the clock play, it looks like, and not use one of the timeouts here.
1:14. Clock starts when the change in place. There it goes. Joe back to throw. He throws for Ferguson, and Ferguson is knocked out of bounds at the Southern California 21-yard line. 1 minute and 5 to play in the game.
You still have 2 timeouts. Watch it again. It's a throwback pattern with Ferguson going down the boundary, trailing the wide receiver. Look how wide open he is. Smith knocks him out of bounds.
1:05 to play. A 24-yard pass play from Montana to Ferguson. The ball is just short of the Southern California 21. SC dominated the football game for 3 quarters. Now they're fighting for their life.
Haynes is back in the ball game, and Ferguson is hurt over on the boundary.
He took a hard shot right in the rib cage from Smith as he knocked him out of bounds. Montana, 18 for 38, 346 yards, and most of it in the second half.
Keith, the Southern Cal coaches worried about Montana's passing, but didn't feel they could stop the Russians. They have, and still have not been able to stop Montana's sensational effort.
346 yards today.
Clock stopped at 1:05. It is not a charged timeout. Vegas Ferguson now has been taken from the field of play. A lot of Notre Dame people hurt in this ball game. Buchanan and Evans are the setbacks. Evans in the pass flow. Montana's pass in the air intended for Holohan. Penalty flag down. You may very well have an interference call here.
Definitely did, Chief. 2 men were on him. Number 11, Hartwick, had a hold of Mastic, the tight end, holding him illegally.
It's Holohan.
Holohan, I'm sorry.
The interference call against Southern Cal.
Here's Holohan coming inside. Uh-oh, that is also pass interference on the offense. You cannot push the defensive man either. But now, Hartwick reaches out and grabs it illegally right here.
The ball is put down at the Southern California 12-yard line.
Let me make it clear. The receiver knows it's a pass pattern. He cannot push the defensive man off. That is illegal.
First down, Notre Dame, SC 12. Montana rolls it, throws it, incomplete. Herb Ward defending on Chris Haynes. Did a good job.
It's a good thing for Southern Cal that Montana did not see Evans, who was wide open down the middle. McGrew was trying to cover him, and Evans had him beat for a touchdown.
56 seconds to play in the game. Notre Dame with the ball at the SC 12. Southern Cal leads 24-19. Second down. He throws it short. Mastak. He's down to the 2-yard line. It's close to a first down with 48 seconds to play in the ball game.
2-yard line.
Crossing tight end is the toughest thing to play. It's defending football. He was open.
Timeout on the field. 48 seconds to play, and the issue very much in doubt.
I want something to drink.
Fiddle with beer? Get away, Nebulous. Something special.
Bull.
Bull.
The Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull. It's a special premium brew that's in a class by itself.
Magnificent taste, Nebulous. You may have either of my daughter's hands in marriage.
If you want to change your taste, don't say Bull, taste Bull. Don't say beer, say Bull. Bull. Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull.
You give a man a couple of days to himself and a Black & Decker workmate, and there's almost nothing he can't do. You can pound on it, saw on it, hammer on it, and sand on it. The sturdy vice jaws do the holding for you. You can clamp on it, paint on it, cut a shape on it, drive a screw on it. There's almost nothing you can't do. When America has a job to do, it reaches for Black & Decker.
48 seconds to play in the ball game. First down, Notre Dame, goal to go at the Southern California 2-yard line. First and goal at the 2. A touchdown can win it. Montana stands up, throws, Holohan, touchdown. Penalty flags all over the field. We may have, what was the call? I didn't see the referee.
Chief, what was the Notre Dame bench ran out on the field, delayed the game. It's a 15-yard penalty on the kickoff, which means that Notre Dame will have to kick off from their own 25-yard line. You cannot do that.
The touchdown not, though, affected.
No, the touchdown is not affected, nor the extra point.
It's 25-24 Notre Dame. Well, I think garrison finish was the proper term about 25 minutes ago.
When you got a player like Montana who has dominated this fourth quarter, anything can happen. You get a little momentum, Southern Cal gets to play a little cautiously, and bang, you've got a new ball game.
Montana, 20 out of 41 for 358 yards, and who in the world would have guessed that he's going to throw the ball on 1st and goal at the 2, but he did.
A little slant-in pass, one of the toughest to defend against. The wide receiver just cuts inside.
They're picked on Carter Hartwig quite a bit here in the second half, too.
Hartwig should have lined up inside of him. The one thing, don't let him come inside. Don't let him come inside. If he's going to catch it on, you've got to catch it all the way out on the boundary. But he lined up in the wrong position. Watch Montana throw off balance. Now, look, he knows it's a touchdown. Look at him. Watch him all the way. I don't blame him. He deserves that.
Going for 296 yards here in the second half. Southern California had just about slammed the door, it appeared, on Notre Dame. But at the same time, the Irish began to find some holes in the second half. And when you throw for 296 yards in the second half of a ball game, after you've been whipped all over the field, you do have some courage.
Keith, we should make mention they're going to go for 2, try to get 3 points ahead, where Southern Cal, field goal by Southern Cal would not cost them the ball game. At least it would be a tie.
Notre Dame leading 25-24 despite only 47 yards rushing in the ball game.
But don't count Southern Cal out. Notre Dame's going to have to kick off, remember, from the 25-yard line.
Montana looking for the pass. Throws it? No. 25-24. Rich Dimler, the nose guard, came out of that line of scrimmage, and he chased the Irish quarterback all the way to the sideline. And there was nobody to throw it to. So 46 seconds remaining to play in the ball game, and Notre Dame will have to kick off from the 25, and you know they want Charles White to get the ball. White and Butler are the normal deep people for Southern Cal. 46 seconds. The Chevrolet offensive and defensive players of the game. Well, you've got to go for Joe Montana as the offensive player of the game. You just have to.
I agree. He put on a fantastic second half performance, particularly in this fourth quarter. Keith, I was wrong. It's a 5-yard penalty instead of a 15.
From the 35, then Notre Dame will kick off. Dennis Johnson gets the vote up here as the defensive player of the ball game. Southern California linebacker.
will kick off.
Joe Montana. Well, his last game in the regular season has made him another memorable Notre Dame quarterback. Here's the kick. They don't want White to get it. He does not get it. It is picked up by DeLulo, fullback, and he comes back to the 30. And there he is down with 41 seconds to play in the game. 41. 25-24. Those are the offensive and defensive players of the game. Each of the schools, USC and Notre Dame, receiving $1,000 for the General Scholarship Fund from Chevrolet. Now, it is not necessary for really McDonald to open it up and try to go for the big one. Just get it down there where Jordan has a shot at it. Jordan's been into the heat before. He's a pretty good field goal kicker. McDonald sets up to throw it. He goes for the short man. Ratchani gets a little confused. Instead of turning for the sidelines and taking it out of bounds, turned back inbounds, and that cost precious time. Southern California has to spend the timeout with 30 seconds to play.
Keith, you're exactly right. All he had to do was run right out of bounds, stop the clock, line up, and have plenty of time to
Well, they give him the progress, stop the clock at 30 seconds, and they don't charge the Trojans with a timeout. So now McDonald's got to make his count at the line of scrimmage and hope he doesn't get a procedure call. Here's where poise and concentration become so important through all 11 people on the field. At the 40, McDonald's pass. That is an incomplete pass. Jeff Weston knocked it down. Incomplete pass. 19 seconds to play. Notre Dame could get another penalty. The whole team went running out on the field. They got confused. They thought it was a fumble, but it was not. The referee standing right there in the middle of it waved it off instantly. You see his arm had started forward, and he banged the ball off the chest of Jeff Weston.
10 yards to go.
Notre Dame is in a prevent defense. 19 seconds to play. Williams in motion. McDonald gets his pass off. Sweeney, he's got it. First down at the Notre Dame 25-yard line. 12 seconds to play in the game. 12.
I can't believe it, Chief. What an execution on that play.
34-yard pass play. McDonald to Sweeney, and Sweeney almost broke it.
Well, the last man grabbed him, and he was lucky to get him down on that particular play.
Timeout on the field. 12 seconds to play, and the issue is still in doubt.
The Goodyear Tiempo is the all-season radio proved last year. Goodyear's Tiempo was the steel-belted snow tire for Joe Usolino.
Last year we had the most snow since 1946, and I never got stuck.
Tiempo was a rain tire for Wallace Marshall.
Oh, I went through some bad weather last winter with my Tiempos, but didn't have any problems at all.
Tiempo is the rain tire, snow tire, sun tire, the one tire that does it all. Goodyear's Tiempo, one tire you can drive with confidence all year.
Man, this is a great New York Life team. We play to win for our policy owners. Today we've got another opportunity. George here's got a wife, 2 kids, and a mother. He needs life insurance protection badly, and we've got to get it for him. We're going to block out money problems, protect him against financial disaster. Okay, let's go! Take the worry off his shoulders. Protect his family. You've made it, George. Financial security.
Where the name of the game is life, there's New York Life.
Calvin Sweeney running down the middle with a clutch grab of a bullet from McDonald has put USC into a first down at the Notre Dame 25-yard line. 12 seconds to play in the ball game.
In front of the safety man on a prevent defense is the most difficult area to defend against. Last time in this situation at UCLA, they ran, set the ball up between the goalposts, lined up, and kicked the field goal to win.
Trojans have one timeout remaining. One. Here's the run by White. He's down to the 20. Now they call time with 6 seconds to play. Second down, but they have run the ball to the left hash mark. The field goal kicker, Frank Jordan, is a sidewinder. He hooks the ball. He hooked one of his extra points out. He missed a short field goal try. Now he is in with an opportunity to win the ball game. 1 year ago, he hit the field goal with just seconds to play to beat UCLA and put Washington in the Rose Bowl. This will be a 37-yard field goal attempt. The last chance for the Trojans to come back to victory. 37-yard field goal try out of Marty King's hole. Frank Jordan. It's long enough. It's good. With 2 seconds to play, it is good.
And they call a penalty on the delay of the game.
Incredible football game. Weston, who has played his heart and soul out on the turf of the Los Angeles Coliseum, walking off the field.
Keith, I can't believe it. I was here last year when they pulled the exact thing against UCLA. Give credit to John Robinson or Hamid, such a resourceful football player. Have the type of offense that you can come back, near the length of the field in 46 seconds to go ahead.
Seconds to play in the ball game. 27-25, Southern California. Well, the 50th, the golden anniversary of this old football rivalry is one to remember forever. Just like so many of the others have been.
When Notre Dame scored, the Southern Cal defense was laying down on the field crying. We didn't have a shot of it, but you see they were brokenhearted. And the reverse happened just 2 minutes later.
Just 2 seconds to play in the game. A research by Jerry Klein, stats by Mike Swanson. Keith Jackson, Frank Broyle. Here at the Coliseum, a tremendous football game. They went 49 yards, 4 plays, and 44 seconds to set up the 37-yard field goal by Frank Jordan that appears to have been the winning points in the game.
Now, Keith, the clock does not start till the ball is touched. But by the time whoever gets the ball moves down the field 2 or 3 steps, the game's over.
USC will kick off from the 35, as Notre Dame did, because of the exuberance of their teammates. They ran out on the field and got a 5-yard delay of game penalty. Here are 2 football teams that are awfully long on courage.
They got some character, hadn't they, Keith? Yes, sir. They got some pride.
Jordan rolls it on the ground. Bobbled around. Time's gone. Game's over. As soon as the tackle is made. Another great football game between the Trojans of Southern California and the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, as the Trojans win it on a 37-yard field goal with 6 seconds to play in the ball game by Frank Jordan. Montana heroic, particularly in the second half as he brought his team storming back and into a 25-24 lead. But then USC, with less than a minute in play, not to be denied, came storming back as Paul McDonald, who will be back next year at quarterback, hooked up with Calvin Sweeney on a big 24-yard pass play. And then the run to the sidelines to set up the natural hooking action of the place kick by Frank Jordan, and he nailed it. He knocked it almost to Santa Monica, and that was all there was left. USC 27, Notre Dame 25. Left provided by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Travel arrangements laid through and promotional fee paid by United Airlines. United, built the largest airline in the free world around you. This has been a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as the leader in sports television.